Good morning, everyone. Salute to everybody in the building early. This is the Objective Knicks fan channel, live and direct. This is the Nick and 10 show as well. You now rocking with the most popular Knicks YouTube channel on the net. I am the Objective fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, y'all. First off, early morning salute to everybody rocking with me, especially if you was here last night. I see you, Sam. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server in the house. I see you, Crimes Dad. Salute, man. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. This is the Nick and 10 show. This is going to be a little deep dive in some stats. I took the liberty. Oh, my phone just fell. I took the liberty to work on this. Just putting together these stats so we can keep track of exactly where the Knicks are. Right now, to answer the question, the Knicks are looking good, y'all. The Knicks is looking really good. Hold on, let me just get my phone. Knicks are looking really good, y'all. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. I think that the defense. Well, the offense, we dropped from number 1 to number 2. That's fine. 1 and 2, that's no real big difference. But I do think that the defense is catching up to the offense a little bit, right? I mean, we was down as bad as like 23 on defensive rating. But we're going to get into all of that, man. Hopefully you guys, if you wasn't here last night, man, I didn't think I was going to make it. I had to push the show back because I wound up being up all night just doing research and reading. And I'm like, oh, man, I got to go to bed because I got to do this show. So, and I had to make sure my notes was proper. You see that? Bam. I had to make sure my notes was proper. And, yeah, we definitely I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I don't got my programming. The next scheduled show that's on the bill will be the podcast on Monday. In the community section, I do have the schedule of all the shows, just to let you guys know early when we'll be going live again. I'm not sure why my chat box is not showing the chats. Anyway, that's cool. By the way, the Knicks hats that you see streaming on the side here, I got a lot of these on the blog. If you go to thisweekinsidethenix.com, you'll be able to see all these hats. They're all discounted prices. Go check it out right there on the blog. Just to let you guys know if you see the hat scrolling. I haven't used this profile in a while, so just rock with me. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to talk about. Oh, Magic game tonight. I'm looking forward to that. I did wind up catching most of the Magic game last night as well when they played against the Heat. I'm telling you guys right now, the Magic is tough. They are a tough group. I think tonight's game, I think we should win, but I think they're going to fight, especially with the last showing that they had, Suggs, not really performing well. He had like 20 points in the first half last night. Crazy stuff. It's just Orlando has a tough time scoring. So, yeah. So let me see. Yeah, Wagner's are out, but they still playing tough. Crimes Dad. Oh, there's the chats. Okay, cool. So you know what? I'm gonna jump into research mode. Let me get this started early. Let me get this popping earlier. So let me adjust this so you guys can see. So I took screen shares of the stats because, Basketball Reference is going to change. And I want to document it, as the season is going along. So that way you guys could always come back here and see what the deal is. Hold on, let me just move the play around like this. Boom, make it so you guys can see it. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's actually pretty good. Let me see. Hold on. Zoom in this a little bit more. Okay, good. So I taken the liberty to highlight some of these stats here. Oh, no, I didn't want to start here. Hold on. I didn't want to start there. I want to start here. So we're going to look at the 10-game stretches, right? I got 3 different 10-game stretches here. I got last year's stretch of 10 games, 20 to 30 games in, right? Because I want to see exactly where we are. I'm not sure how many of you guys remember this, but last year during this stretch from games 21 to 30, we had a very rough patch because we were going up against some really, really tough teams, right? You had like 3 times we played Milwaukee, 3 times, right? I think one of them was the Cup game. We played Boston, right? You see all the losses there we got in the top. I could zoom in here a little bit more too. Bam. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is last year. So the last year during this stretch, yeah, we were playing against way, way better competition. The schedule last year, from what I'm seeing, to start the season, way more tougher overall, right? So that's how we did last season. This season, right? The last 10 games before this 10 games we're talking about. By the way, we're talking about the games from December 1st to December 25th, which was the Christmas game. Okay. So but the previous 10 games this year in the 24-25 season, which was games 11 through 20, we went 7-3, right? And of course, we had the one bad loss to Chicago, right? But we had the two good wins. Of course, the Phoenix win, they didn't have their team, but I'm still counting it. And we also beat Denver. It was without Aaron Gordon. I don't care. I'm claiming it. I was told that wins against no matter who you play count. That's what I was told by multiple people, including Dusty. So I don't care about the competition no more. I used to make that a big deal, but nobody seems to care if guys are not performing right against competition. Okay, cool. Now this is the current stretch that we're on. Okay, so as you can see, 8-2. This is the best stretch we had all season. First off, salute to the Knicks for doing that. Now, of course, they're gonna say the competition wasn't the greatest, but I'm gonna say we did have some good wins. Like the first Orlando win was an NBA Cup win, and they had the Wagner brother there, right? So that's a solid win. Even the second win, yeah, they didn't have the Wagner brothers. No, they had Mo Wagner, who actually was putting in work against us. Very physical play. That game was very physical, and but they didn't have Franz Wagner, and they didn't have Bankaro. We still managed to get that win. The Minnesota, the revenge game. How many of you guys remember the revenge game? That was a big one. I don't care that Minnesota right now is struggling to be 500. They're still a good team, right? And I'm going to show you why I think Minnesota still has the opportunity to bounce back in a second. And then, of course, the Christmas Day victory, right? So we had four what I call four solid wins against teams that are above 500 that all matter, right? And we had one bad loss in Detroit. That was a bad loss. And, of course, the Hawks loss was bad, too. Anytime you lose to the Hawks. But bad losses is losses against teams sub 500. I'm going to get more into that in a second. But I just want to give us a quick little snapshot as to, what we've been doing thus far in 10-game stretches. Let me see who else is in the building real quickly. First off, New York City salute to Knicks will be champs 25-26. What's good? Knicks tape, Madness Discord. I'm not sure if you're in the Discord, but you have access to it. Also, channel member, man. Salute to Knicks will be champs, man. Good morning. And by the way, good morning to On Dios, man. Salute to you, man. But yo, On Dios, man. I see you was rocking with me last night, man. I appreciate it, man. Last night was pretty crazy. So yeah, I appreciate everybody in the building early rocking with me. And definitely, like On Dios says, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell icon so you get all the notifications, and also like the video, man. So more cool Knicks fans can find this video because I'm getting ready to go in, right? So this is how we done on this stretch. I'm impressed. I don't care if we beat New Orleans. I don't care if we beat Charlotte. I don't care if we beat New Orleans again and then Toronto. This is the marker of what makes you a good team. Winning the games that you're supposed to. I keep going back to it. Last year, we were 29-5 against teams that were sub 500, right? And I'm going to get into our current record now, but anytime you could beat these teams, it's the marker for what a good team is supposed to be, and we've been seeing Cleveland do that all year. So if they're going to give Cleveland their props, I'm going to make sure that we get our props. I am not going to allow them to and I jump out of research mode real quick. I'm not going to allow them to just like create these narratives because they want to always talk down about the Knicks. That's what gets the clicks and the views. When you put down the Knicks, no matter how good they're doing, if you could find a slight way to just, oh, they not this, right? And it's the they not this effect, right? We can't allow them to say, oh, we're not playing against good competition when they don't hold Cleveland to the same standard. That's been Cleveland's motto, the whole MO. Yeah, they got some good wins. They beat Denver, they beat Boston. But let's keep it real. A lot of the wins against teams that are not either they're not healthy or they haven't sub 500 teams. They had a very soft schedule, right? And yes, they did win some tough games against good teams, but they got to give us our props. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. By the way, okay, salute the Knicks will be champs. Yeah, feel free to listen in. This is definitely a listen-in show because I'm gonna be going over a couple of interesting stats. Yeah, this is definitely a listen-in show. So yeah, you're in the right place, man. you're definitely in the right place. So I'm gonna shift gears. So that's the outlook, the 10-game outlook right there. I'm gonna jump into. Let me see. I'm gonna go to my standings, right? So these are the standings. I took the liberty to screen clip them because I wanted to. Well, I didn't even have to do that because it's not like there's gonna be no games in the morning. I used to do this show at night, so I didn't want none of the games at night to affect the standing, and I wanted to really like capture the moment when the Knicks actually reached 30 games. So that's why I got the screenshots here. Now, the Knicks definitely, once again, salute to New York. New York City, salute to New York and the Knicks. Man, they really improved in every single standing stat, right? Of course, the 20 wins looks nice. We're within 2 games of Boston. We right there, y'all. We are right there. Yes, they're the defending champions, right? Yes, they will be the favorites in the series. But right now, when you look at the way the season is going, we are keeping pace with the Boston Celtics. We are on their heels, right? Of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they've been very dominant and they're within our reach too. We're 6 games back. But first, right now, we're looking at Boston. Like, we want to see who really going to hold these positions because our next 5 games, right, for the next 5 games are against sub 500 teams or teams that's injured, right? So we got Orlando. They ain't got their team. Washington twice, Utah, then OKC, right? And I still want that OKC win for obvious reasons, right? It's a guy named Hartenstein there. I don't want him to get no pleasure in beating us, right? But that's a whole nother topic. So I'm going to talk about some of these standing stats. So right now, I talked about above 500, below 500. I don't have it on the screen, but you know what? I kind of typed up my notes. Maybe because I wanted you guys to see a visual of the standings. I'm not sure what you guys prefer. I'm going to put the visual of the standings back up. But I could vacillate because I just thought about it. I could vacillate. Let me see. I just lost myself. I'm on 10 games. Sorry. I lost where I was at. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. So this is where I'm reading off from, guys, so you guys can read it because I normally write this, but I typed it so hey, we can look at it together. Let me zoom in. So as you can see on the screen, against teams that's below 500, we're 12-4, right? 12-4. Salute to us once again, dominating these teams. That's overall for the season. I do think that we can go on a run where we don't lose the bad teams again. I wouldn't be surprised because last year, right, it took us to get to 23 games. Even though technically we did lose to Cleveland, they were a below 500 team. I didn't really count them because I felt like Cleveland would be a good team, which they were. But our first real official loss to a team that's under 500 last year came on December the 13th against Utah. I actually just had it up on the screen. And then we went on a run where after that Utah game, we only lost 4 games to sub 500 teams. I think we could surpass that just by just winning out these games against sub 500 teams. Most of the time, these guys are not prepared. They coming out there looking sloppy. I see these guys dropping leads. This is an opportunity for us to dominate. And of course, if you look at the previous stretch of 10 games, which was between not 10 and 20, it's really 11 and 20. Excuse the typos there, but from games 11 to 20, we have gone 8. We were 8-3. So we improved our record against sub 500 teams. Of course, we did pick up that loss, like I said, that bad loss to Detroit. I'm assuming. Oh, do I got them on the schedule? I forgot to put the Jazz on the schedule. We got to see. We definitely got to see. I mean, the Pistons on the schedule. We definitely got to see the Pistons again. Yeah, we got to get back against them. So yeah, and then above 500 teams, I'm gonna just highlight it like this, so you guys can see where I'm at. So I'm at number 2, and then against above 500 teams, which is a mark that we really struggled at. Last year we were below 500 against above 500 teams. Right now we're 8-6. So salute once again to the Knicks for improving where we are against above 500 teams. In this league, if you can beat good teams and you could beat bad teams, man, that's championship level right there. And I would love for the Knicks to sustain that, like 2 games above 500 against bad teams. If the Knicks can do that, remember last year we won 50 games. We could easily push our record up this year to 55, even 60 games, depending on the type of runs we go on, just by maintaining a positive record against above 500 teams. Because a lot of your core wins is going to come from teams that are not that good. So they're trending in the right direction. We're beating teams that I don't care if it's Orlando. I don't care if it's any team that's above 500 with injuries. Everybody has injuries. Everybody's going through it right now. So the injury excuse is kind of like, yeah, it's there, but it's like, you know, we've been in the season 30 games now. If you're not healthy, you probably won't get healthy. So you are who you are at this point. The Sixers, they're a team that one night you might get Joel Embiid, one night you might not get him. So, that's just where we are. So if you happen to play Joel Embiid, then to hit the Sixers when he sits out, whose fault is that? And then, of course, in the last 10-game stretch, which was games 11 through 20, we were 4-5. So we improved our record against above 500 teams from, being below 500 during this stretch. That's why this stretch, it was really, for me, monumental, because if we can continue this, I'm telling you guys, we can continue these trends. These trends that you see right here, 12-4 below 500 teams, just completely dominate them, but also stay above 500 against above 500 teams. Yeah, that's championship level stuff right there. Now I'm gonna jump back into the standings now, so we could look at some stuff here. Hold on, let me zoom out. Right, bam. So these are, like I said, these are the screenshots I took just to keep the records of these things, so we could always look back at where we were during the season, and it won't be a mystery. I've been keeping track of this stuff since last season. I just wasn't doing shows on it. I decided to do shows on it this year. So let me see if anybody else came in the chat. This is the Knicks in 10 episode where I break down where we are during the season. Let me see. E. Gibson says, salute. We could possibly be on a 9-game winning streak by January 3rd at OKC. That's a big fact. That's a big fact. And I'm going to tell you something. Even if we're not on a 9-game winning streak, it could be, we lose one of those games, but we have momentum, and then I'm going to go into OKC and get that win. I think we could do it. OKC has a great, they're a great team, great young team. Definitely really great defensively. Like that, honestly, I'm not sure if you guys really watch OKC play. I have probably watched like maybe 8 to 9 OKC games that I could remember. I'm telling you guys right now, those guys defend at a high level. They defend at a high level, and they're undersized and they're small. That's why when I'm looking at our Knicks, I'm like, if OKC can do it, we can do it. Granted, I know we got Brunson, who is not a defensive player. SGA plays defense. So I understand it's not going to be quite the same, but you got Bridges, you got OG, you got Hart, who puts effort on defense, you got Deuce, right? You got Campaign, who's not a bad defender. So we got some guys that can really propel us defensively, especially on the perimeter. I want to see the Knicks do it, because I'm telling you guys right now, OKC, you talk about size. Before Hartenstein came back, there was a couple of games where Jalen Williams paid the 5, and they won those games. So, the size, I think we kind of got past that, because we see that, okay, they're going to have Mitch when he gets back and Precious coming in off the bench. So we could easily turn the small lineup into a bigger lineup. But, it's possible, right? So right now, of course, the 20 wins we talked about, but here's where I my second stat, and we kind of talked about this last night a little bit. I told you guys I was going to go into more detail. The second most important standing stat on this standing list right here is point differential. That is the second most important stat on this whole thing. It's how I measure teams. And I've been keeping track of where people's differential is. Like, let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to go, this is 20 games, right? So this is 20 games, and this is how the standings look here, right? Look at the differential. You see Boston, you see Cleveland at the top, right? So Cleveland actually built on their differential from where they were, right? And you see us, top 3, right? First 10 games. This is the first 10 games, right? And like I said, I've been keeping track of this, right, all year. So this is the first 10 games, right? We go up to the Eastern Conference. You see it. Look. Cleveland, 12-point differential. Boston 9.5 differential. Our differential was lower, but we always maintained top 3. This is why I knew the Knicks were a top 3 team. I'm tracking differential all year. That's all I've been doing. I'm tracking differential because differential tells you the story. It tells you the story of who's real, who's not. And so salute to the Knicks once again for actually getting a bump in their differential. Actually, the Knicks got a bigger bump than Cleveland did. Cleveland jumped up 2 points in that differential, right? The Celtics kind of stayed the same in the 9 range, and we jumped up about 2 points, so 2 to 3 points. So salute to Knicks, man. I mean, this is the marker of success right here. And if this continues, man, boy, it's going to be a 3-headed monster in the Eastern Conference race to see who gets that top seed, especially if Cleveland starts losing those games above 500 teams. You know, especially as these above 500 teams get healthy, I do want to see Cleveland take on some of these teams again to see how they fare. They've been doing well, and they might continue to do well. Just to give a quick look at the Western Conference, here's what I'm talking about, right? Now, notice the differential on the West. OKC has been maintaining this high differential. That's how I knew OKC is the best team in the West. The differential will tell you who is real, who's not. Houston Rockets differential starting to fall off. Houston is not a top 2 team. They're starting to fall off. Great defensive team. I think they're still the second best defensive team in the league. But the differential is telling us a big story about what's going on here. Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies is for real, y'all. Now, if Ja goes down for injury, I mean, that's anybody that can happen to, right? That's not exclusively the Ja Morant. But at the same time, if he stays healthy and they keep most of their key guys healthy, this Memphis team is probably the top. They're probably number 2 in the West. And we see that Luka is going to be out for a month, y'all. So Luka is going, I don't know. Well, Dallas honestly have been faring well without him. But once again, that's early in the season. Right now, things are starting to change. Teams are starting to hit their stride. I'm not sure how well Dallas performs going forward, right? But they still got the 4th highest differential in the West. Differential tells me who's real, like the Lakers. This is why Dusty, salute to my cousin, man, for rocking with me last night. Oh, if you guys missed last night's episode, I know it's a long show, but I'm telling you right now, it's worth the listen. It got kind of dicey there for a minute. So, but his Lakers minus 2.5. That shows me that they're not for real. And honestly, they struggle to maintain a positive point differential. So this is my cheat code, y'all. This is how I've been looking at the season. This is why I say, oh yeah, this team, this team, this, that, and the third, because I'm tracking differential. And if you be tracking it, if you watch it throughout the year, you're gonna see teams fluctuate and fall. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers drop down to like the 7th, 8th seed, right? And the Clippers continue to rise, especially if Kawhi comes back. I'm not sure if he's back yet, but I know, he's in the midst of coming back. The Clippers could easily leapfrog the Lakers. So, but yeah, that's where we are. That's what I look at, right? So the Knicks, and also if you look at the differential, that's another reason why I want to come down here. The Knicks have the 5th best differential in basketball, right behind, of course, Cleveland. Then you got OKC, then you got Memphis, you got Boston, and then it's us. So salute to the Knicks. We got top 5 in differential. And this is what Coach Tibbs keeps looking at. This is why when we say, oh, Coach Tibbs needs to do this, that, and the third, he's like, man, I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers showing that we're trending like this. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing because I clearly know what I'm doing. By the way, man, this is the Knicks in 10 show. If you just joined, salute to everybody that just joined. I'm going to peek into the chat for a little bit. Salute to some more people that joined PD. Let me see what you're talking about. We're a top 3 team, but we don't have a definitive performance that we can count on game in and game out. Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm not sure if you joined when I went over it. I started off because I'm talking about the standings right now. And I started off showing that we improved our record to 12-4 against below 500 teams. I think that that's the main staple in us being a 50-plus win team. Last year, we got 29 wins. If we can get 30 wins again, at least, or more, against sub-500 teams, I think that's enough to really keep us in the top. Because it's not just about your performances against good teams. Right now, we're 8-6 against above 500 teams. So what I want to see from the Knicks is maintaining that level of play. right? If the Knicks can continue to maintain this level of play, they'll be all right. We're on track to win around 50 games right now, right? So all the Knicks have to continue to do is do what they've been doing, and they will be all right. And that's all I want to see from this group. And I'm more than confident that we can do it and secure a top 3 spot in the West. Like I said, the numbers don't lie, man. And when you look at differential, you talk about some of these other teams, you know, definitive wins outside of some of these guys beating the Celtics or even the Cavs. What is a definitive win? Does it even matter at this point in the season, right? I think like the Knicks will have more definitive wins, and we talked about that last night too. Like, if you want to talk about definitive wins, right? We beat we had some big wins. I think the Orlando game to get into the cup was important. We lost the Hawks game. That was bad. That was a moment to have another win. But the revenge game in Minnesota, I mean, that to me was a definitive win, right? It was a big game. Everybody was talking about it. It's the regular season, so until we get to the playoffs, that's when you're going to start to see more things matter. But that's all I got to say. Yeah, but we are a top 3 team. That's all we need to be during the regular season. Let me see. Crimes that who let On Dios in the chat? Oh yeah, salute to On Dios. All right, salute. All right, guys, ride with me. I'm gonna go and move to the next stat. So I talked about differential. Our last record in the last 10 games is 8-2, like I had here. This was the snapshot, right? So once again, a really good stretch. I don't care if half of the wins were against teams that weren't really that good. And then if Orlando with the injury issues, I don't care. You got to beat these teams because you could still lose, right? That's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like, yeah, you talk about these bad teams, but on any given night, we've seen it. Teams can bring their A game. I literally watched when the Toronto Raptors played against the Celtics. And the Toronto Raptors won the game, but Tatum hit a 3, but he traveled. Right? So, it is what it is, man. I mean, you're going to have moments like that during the season. So our conference record, 14-7, right? Hold on. Let me get back to where I was at. Yeah, conference record 14-7. Oh, I'm in research mode. That's what I'm meant to do. All right, we're back, so you guys can see it now. Our conference record, we're 14-7, right? We improved on that from the first 10 game stretch. We was 9-5. So, once again, dominating the conference. They say the Eastern Conference is weaker, and I do think that the Western Conference has more teams that are capable of making the playoffs. But when you look at the standings, man, I mean, the East is not too far behind from the West, right? The top 3 teams in the East, to me, have been outperforming the top 3 teams in the West, right? Cleveland has a better record than OKC. Boston versus Houston, right? Us and the Grizzlies is kind of neck and neck. So, I mean, when you look at the top teams, it's kind of even, right? It's kind of even. And then look at Orlando and Dallas, right? I mean, then you got Denver, we got Milwaukee. It's not as bad as it is, but I do think the East have more teams that are kind of suspect. But to keep it honest, every team besides the Wizards can beat you on any given night. The Toronto Raptors, I watched maybe 10 Raptors games this year, and they're not getting blown out most nights. They're in fights. They just don't know how to close games, and they also had a lot of injuries too. Charlotte Hornets, same thing. Same issue. They had a lot of injuries. They had both their centers was out at one point, right? Ball in and out of the lineup. Bridges hurt for a stretch. Miller out. So these Eastern Conference teams, you cannot sleep on none of these. I mean, listen, on any given night, these teams could give you problems, especially Philadelphia. If they play in their big 3, they're dangerous. The 76ers is a dangerous team on any given night if their big 3 is playing. Brooklyn Nets play with their heart out. So us going 14-7 in our conference, improving on a 9-5 record, that's a major key. That's a major win. That's how we're tracking right now. So we're doing better in our conference, right? Our home record, 10-4. Salute to the home record being 10-4. Last year around this time, let me see if I got it. Last year around this time, we weren't a good. I know we finished at home pretty solid, but we were better, like we were like over 500 on the road. We were road warriors. If we can maintain this level of dominance on the road, by continuing our road warrior stretch, 10-6, but if we can continue dominating at home, right, at a high clip, up there with Boston and Orlando, especially because Orlando's a really good home team. If we can maintain that, 50 wins, 55 wins, definitely within reach. Like I said, the 10-6 road record. And we know why the 10-6 road record is what it is. Let's keep it real. We take over buildings. When we go on the road, it's like it being at home, especially on the Eastern Conference. You go to Charlotte, man, it's nothing but Knicks fans down there. Salute to all the Knicks fans on the East Coast. I know my man Keith is down in Atlanta. We go to Atlanta, we take it over Atlanta, right? So I think that's part of the reason why the road record is so good, is that, we got a lot of love. We get a lot of support on the road, but that's how we've been performing. We improved our road record from 6-6. So we won 5 straight road games in a row. 5 straight road games in a row. And I do go, okay. I see what so last year against below 500 teams at this time, we were 9-1, right? So just to bring it back to below 500, I just realized I had a little sticky note here. So last year we were very dominant against these teams. Even though we struggled early in the year, we managed to beat these guys, and that has to continue. And then we were 8-12 against above 500 teams. And right now we are 8-6 against above 500 teams. So way more above 500 teams last year at this point than now. Our schedule last year was way harder. That's a fact. But I don't care, because our performance is better. So that means that we're doing good, right? Yeah, we have a softer schedule, but we're performing better. That's the key to all of this. And that's why I be looking at all these standings. 10-6 on away, 10-4 at home. That's what we want, man. If we maintain that, we'll sustain top 3 status, right? On the heels of Boston right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if we catch Boston, especially during this stretch, because we got a nice little stretch of games. I wouldn't be surprised if we catch them, right? And we'll see. And then Cleveland, we got our eyes on Cleveland too. But right now, we just take it in one game at a time. And we could easily win the next 4 games straight, right? The next 4 games straight. So, and of course, just the throw in the NBA Cup there, we did go 4-0 in the NBA Cup group rounds, but of course we lost to the Atlanta Hawks, which was kind of that was a bummer. That was a bummer. But we did go 4-0 in our group, which we improved from 3-1 last year. A lot of people don't care about the NBA Cup, so I'm not even gonna spend much time on it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna jump into my no, not that. Yeah, bam. Okay, cool. I gotta start naming this stuff. All right. So I'm gonna jump into here. So I got another stat I want to talk about. Close games record. This is a problem. This is the only standing stat that I'm tracking that's negative, right? And we're 5-6 in close games. 5-6 in close games. We improved on this because in the previous 10 games, our record against in close games, I'm gonna tell you it right quickly, was 3-5. So we managed to get 2 wins and we lost 1 more game during this stretch. Now, how I track close games, just to get you guys know, I track it based on winnability and down the stretch. So I don't care about the 5-point rule that the NBA created. I think the 5-minute 5-point rule is cool. But sometimes you could be down, and I've seen teams down 8 come back and win the game. That still is a close game, right? The points to me really don't matter. It's more of, can you actually win the game? Was the game tied? Did a team go on an 8-0 run, right? So that's what I'm really tracking for. So my close game record tracking is a little bit more, I think, precise, or it gives you a better outlook as to what is actually going on in close games, right? So during this stretch of us being 5-6, let me see if I go back to the snapshot, right? So during this stretch here, we lost to Detroit. That was the one close game loss that we had. I also marked down here in terms of close games. What else I marked down? Detroit. I marked down the San Antonio game we just had. That was a nice win. And because we were struggling in close games, I'm always looking for these moments because we haven't really been performing the best in these times. So this is another reason why the San Antonio win was important because we needed another close game win. I mean, we were 4-6 up until that point, right? And then of course the other close game win I tracked. I didn't track this Orlando game, though the scores were kind of close. We kind of was blowing them out, but they made a little run towards the end. I think the other game I counted as a close game was the Toronto game, right? And once again, I know you guys are going to say Toronto, oh, they're not a good team, but at the end of the day, it was a tough game in Toronto, right? On the road, like I said, we struggled to be above 500, right? Up before we got to this point, right? We were 6-6 on the road. So this win, road win and close game, that was a big win. I don't care if it's the Toronto Raptors. I'm just letting you guys know why I'm looking at these wins the way I'm looking at it, because our close game record was sub 500. So anytime we could win a close game, like even tonight, we play Orlando tonight. We in Orlando. First off, if you're going to Orlando, it's going to be a tough game. Just off the rip of you going there. It don't even matter who's on the floor. That team is like, I don't know, they Bugs Bunny juice. They love the road. I mean, being at home, I'm sorry. They love Disney. Them boys are different. It's like, I don't know what they're drinking down there. But when these boys get home in Orlando, they become a whole different monster, right? So tonight's game could easily be a close game. And if we win, now you guys see why. Because now we'll be 500 in close games. Right? And they still above 500, and they right behind us. We got to beat these guys just to get these guys out of our sight. Push them back off our heels a little bit. The Magic, every time I look at the schedule or the standings rather, they right there. Look at Orlando, 19-13. Oh, they don't got the Wagner brothers. They're still managing to be 19-13. Right? Yeah, they lost 3 games at home. Salute to us for giving them their first home loss. But, they have gone through some transitions. But I mean, they're still a good team. Yeah, they're not at their full potential. But like I said, I watch a lot of these games, man. I watch a lot of these teams play, so I know who's real and who's not. I'm telling you, Orlando still plays well, despite not having their guys. They find ways to win, and they still got an overabundance of 6'10", 6'11" guys. You would think they would have problems with size. No, they don't. Right? They put Carter to the bench. I think they started another rookie, Silva, and this other kid they started, and yeah, they pretty much made the adjustments that they needed to deal with that. And then off the bench, they still got Carter 6'10" and Isaac 6'11". So they still maintain their size, even though they got all these big guys out. So you can't sleep on these guys. But yeah, that's the standing stuff, y'all. That's the standings. I got more. I'm gonna jump into basketball reference. I'm just gonna put this. Let me zoom out so you guys can see it. This is stuff that I clipped, right? Make sure I'm in the right stretch. Yeah, 30 games. So this is stuff that I clipped. We're gonna get into this in a second. Let me see if anybody else is in the chat. Let me see. Definitely get that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Let me see. E. Gibson says Orlando on the back-to-back and shorthanded. This should be a W tonight. Yo, E. Gibson, let me tell you something. I'm not sure if you've been watching them. They recently played. Matter of fact, I can do it. Let me put it up there on the screen. But I've been tracking Orlando, right? And I'm trying to tell you guys right now. Can I make it big? All right. So hold on. Let me pull up. Let me go to Orlando. Let me go to the Magic. And I want to show you the stretch they've been on, right? So this is what they've been doing. Mind you, and I'm going to zoom in. Can I zoom in? I can't zoom in. So I can't zoom in on this app because this is the ESPN app. But look, when you look at what the Orlando Magic is doing, in this Heat game that I watched last night, they were up like 20-something points, the Magic. And they were in Orlando, okay? They were up like 27 points, right? And you know, they were doing their thing, bro. It's just that the Heat went on a run. They turned up the defense. Oh, and Alec Burks was putting in work too, by the way. You know, once the nigga always a Knicks, salute to him. Yeah, even though he's with the ops, I don't want to see Miami ever win, but Burks had a solid performance, and they turned up. They had to come. Miami had to fight to come back in this game. I'm gonna keep it real. Orlando Magic was dominant. The Orlando Magics also beat the Celtics. They also beat the Celtics, and they beat the Heat the other night as well. So yeah, the Orlando Magic, they're not a slouch, bro. I'm letting you know right now. I know. Look at they lost to OKC, right? It was a 6-point game. They lost to the Knicks, a little mini blowout against the Knicks. Okay, cool. They lost to the Bucks, but it was a 5-point game. I don't want you guys thinking that you going into Orlando and it's going to be an easy game. And I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's not going to be easy. They play very physical, and they still a really good defensive team. They're really they're still top 3, I think, if not top 4. They still in the top defensively. They haven't lost that because Paolo and the Wagner, well, Mo Wagner helps, but the other Wagner don't help with the defense. This team is still a really good defensive team. By the way, salute to the super chat. I do appreciate the super chat. Salute to PD. He says, "What up, great pod? Listen, you're talking my concerns. What are we under pressure? What are we under pressure games? Who are we? I don't trust Brunson shows up. Tibbs concerns me though." So PD, I'm gonna spend a little time since you took the liberty to send me that super chat. I do appreciate that. And you know what? I jump out of research mode. Hold on. Okay, PD. So look, let me address that. So in terms of Tibbs and the shortcomings that we've seen, you've been on the show for a little while, but I'm not sure if you got to see the beginning of the pod, right? So I kind of like broke down a lot of positive stats. There is way more overwhelmingly positive standing stats because that's really what we talked about. I didn't even get to the whole rankings and stuff like that. I didn't even get to that yet, right? With the offensive rankings and stuff like that. Get ready to get into that. Now, what you have to understand when you look at these other top teams in the Eastern Conference, they all been together. The Knicks are a brand new team. So for us to be doing this, and I'm going to jump back into research mode just so we could also see some visual stuff. For the Knicks to be doing this, right, in the Eastern Conference, amongst Boston and Cleveland as the leaders in the conference, when Cleveland pretty much has the same team they had since we beat them in the playoffs. So there's no kinks to work out. That's why they fired off at all cylinders. Plus, they hadn't had any real major injuries yet. They haven't really dealt with that. I mean, Strus was out, but he's not a main guy. Boston Celtics, yeah, they didn't have KP for a lot of the season, but at the same time, Boston Celtics is the champions, and they brought back the same exact team, literally the same exact team, right? The Knicks are a brand new team. We have only one guy that was in the starting lineup last season. Only one guy, and that's Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart was coming off the bench. Josh Hart became a starter later on, right? So when you talk about the shortcomings, you got to factor that in too, that it was going to take this team some time to get to a place where we are now, where you're starting to see them fire off at all cylinders, because it's all about developing chemistry. It's all about, you got to build off of that, right? It's not going to just happen from day one necessarily. Most times, it's not going to happen, no matter who's on the team. It's going to take you time. Perfect example. How many of you guys remember the Warriors, 73-9, right? Next year, they get KD. They didn't win 73 games because during those stretches, it was an acclimation period. Of course, it happened pretty quick for them because they wound up winning the championship, and I think they still won like 59, 60 games. I don't remember the exact amount of games that the Warriors won, but the point that I'm saying is there's going to be a drop-off, right? And that's just one player in KD. We got a whole new team. Even OG Anunoby, we only had him for 40 games. We didn't have OG for the whole season in the training camp. This is his first go-around too. And we're a different team than we were last year. So Brunson, yeah, I agree. Brunson will show up. You do trust that Brunson shows up. But as far as Tibbs, listen, man, we got to give a New York City salute to Tibbs because without Tibbs coaching the way he's coaching, this team is not 20-10, bro. Like, yes, has he done things that we all don't like? Of course. I don't like the 8-man rotation. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't like it at all. I feel like you should play 9 guys in the regular season. Playoffs, okay, cool. But regular season, I don't want these guys playing 8-man rotation and then you got 2 guys playing 40+ minutes. I don't think that's a recipe. So that's one thing I don't like that Tibbs do. But other than that, Tibbs has made some great adjustments. The defense was slow, right? But I think part of that was Precious Achiuwa, as I'm going to show you the defensive stats in a second. But just to answer your super chat, because I do appreciate it. I do think that part of our identity, and I always talk about this, I think that on the offensive end, we should be the modern day Malone and Stockton with Towns and Brunson. I think they should run a lot more pick and roll. They're the best pick and roll duo based on the numbers, according to Sports Radar. Right? They're the number 1 pick and roll duo. Salute to all you guys that's been listening to me. I've been saying they was the number 1 pick and roll duo before there was any stat to say they were the number 1 duo. Before Jason Kidd said that they were the number 1 duo. I said that the Knicks, Towns and Brunson is the best pick and roll combination in basketball. And I had no stats at the time or nothing to prove it. So I do think that they need to run more pick and roll, right? And because it just creates so much opportunities for Towns, Brunson, and everybody else. They can pass. Both Towns and Brunson could pass. Like, it's just so much these guys can do. But I just wanted to answer your Tibbs concern and the pressure games. We're getting better in pressure games. Like I said, we're 5-6 in close games. So, we're getting close to that 500 mark. And honestly, I think we're going to get a lot of blowouts in the next couple of games based off the competition. But some of these games will be close, like OKC. That OKC game will be a close game. And we see OKC twice, by the way. We see them January 3rd, and then we also see them again in the Garden January 10th. By the way, I'm going to let you guys know if we got any live play-by-plays. I don't think we're going to have any live play-by-plays for a while. Not till February, but I'll let you guys know about that. Let me see what else you guys talking about. Knicks are a chat going nowhere. Hey, let Eric talk. As long as Eric's not being disrespectful, I like Eric. We need people like that in the chat. I'm not sure if you just joined, brother, but man, you got to go back and rewatch the beginning of this show because I already started off showing all of the positive things the Knicks are doing. Right? Not too many bad stats just yet, but I'm getting ready to get into the more. Oh, by the way, give us a New York City salute to Sharon, man. Good morning to you, Sharon. Who we played? We played the weakest schedule in the NBA. No, that's not true. That's not true. The Cavaliers played the weakest schedule in the NBA. Yeah, the Cavaliers had an easier stretch than us because our first 5 games were very tough. First 5 games of the season were very tough. We had the toughest first 4 or 5 games in the season. So in the league. But then, of course, the schedule's starting to get soft. But Sharon, I was just talking about that, and I'm about to jump into where I got to get into. But I was just telling you, Sharon, like, everybody's giving the Cavaliers their credit. Why can't we get our credit too? No one's saying, oh, yeah. I mean, a couple of people were saying the Cavs ain't beat nobody. But why can't we get our credit? Why can't we're winning games? What does it matter who we're playing against? A lot of teams is hurt. Luka is going to be out for a month. We just got the news about Luka. So if I play against Dallas and I beat them, even though Dallas has a good record without Luka, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, I digress. But if I'm playing against Dallas and they don't got Luka and I beat them, why doesn't that count? They still got Kyrie. They still got Clay, right? They still got Quentin Grimes, right? I don't know, man. Let me see. I got to jump back into this stuff. Because I got a bunch of stats to go over, man. So I want to show you guys where we are ranking-wise, some basketball reference stuff. I'm gonna go into the positive stuff because I'm a Knicks fan, and there's a lot more positive than there is negative. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna start on the offensive side. So as you notice, I got like the yellow highlights are positive stats, right? The blue highlights is like bad, like we need to be way better than that, right? So when you look at a lot of the yellow stats, and I'm gonna start it off like this. So right now, in terms of field goal percentage, we're ranked number 2. So very efficient from the field. This team, offensively, I mean, they have all the tools offensively to be a championship team. We know that. And the numbers, I mean, they're just improving and getting better on the numbers. So, um, in terms of field goal percentage, like I said, we're number 4 in the league. And no, number 2 in the league, and we're shooting about 49% from the field. In terms of just regular field goals, we're getting up about 43.4 a game. That's how much we're making, and that's 4th in the league. So very efficient with our baskets, getting up a lot of shots. That's what the Knicks are trying to do, and it's working for us at this point in time. In terms of the field goal percentage, the hold on, I'm gonna tell you how much we improved. 1 second, because I got it right here. So this is the 20 games. So in terms of field goal percentage, 4.97. So we stayed the same. It's funny, like our field goal percentage, we stayed the same, right? 49%. But okay, yeah, we maintained the number 2 spot. Okay, I read that wrong. My fault. So yeah, we pretty much been solid here, and I think these numbers are going to stick too. When we look at 3-pointers made, right, 14.4, that's ranked number 11 in the league. That's actually a big improvement for us because, well, not a big improvement, but we're trying to get more threes up. So we staying around that 14 mark, and I think that number is going to continue to rise, especially as we're moving the ball, things of that nature. So yeah, 3 points made is all these stuff is solid right here. Everything you see in yellow is solid. 3-point percentage, 39%, number 2 in the league, right? We maintaining that number, holding that number. Very important to hold these numbers because this is what is a part of what makes us a successful offensive team. 2-point percentage, right? We're number 2 in the league right now. I got my mouse hovered over there as well, so you guys can see. 2-point percentage, right? Number 2, 56%, 57%. Let's round up. So they're 57% from twos. That's ranked number 2 in the league, right? Free throw percentage. Now, the one thing I'm gonna say about free throw percentage, even though we're still top 3, 80%, great percentage. I don't like us losing 30%, or from 3, right? 3% drop in free throw percentage that's not what I want to see. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if we go back to 20 games, right, you can see right here, we were number 1, 83%. I got my mouse hovered over. I know it's a little smaller. But when you look at the free throws attempted, right, 29th in the league at 19.1, right? So you go forward to where we are now, we got an extra free throw. So we got an extra free throw, but we dropped 3%. What does that mean? I don't know in the grand scheme of things because we still not drawing enough fouls. Like that's something that I'm gonna get into in a second, but we gotta get more free throws up. We gotta get more free throws up. It's an underutilized area on the floor. And yes, I understand when you're a top 3-point shooting team, you tend to not get as many free throws up because you're shooting a lot of threes. And no one really fouls behind 3-point line like that. That's a bad play. But I do want to see the free throws. I would love to see the free throw percentage stay at 80, but go up. I think we need to take more free throws. And guys are shying away from contact. Man, we need to embrace it more because even if we go down to like 78% free throws, that's still a really good number. Let me see where else I'm gonna go. And then assists. I'm gonna show you guys an assist stat later in the show that's gonna blow your mind. But assists, we're like 9th in assists with 28.1, and we improved, right? Our ranking. No, we held our ranking, but we improved a little bit. So we went up from 27 to 28. That's good. I would love to see the assists get closer to 30, and I'm gonna tell you why a little later. But the assists, when the ball is moving, this team is a better team, guaranteed for sure. And then when we look at turnovers, right, which is all the way to the end over here, believe it or not, guys, we're still 3rd, and we still only have 13.1 turnovers. it seems like to me like the Knicks have been turning over the ball way more, right? That it just, I don't know, maybe it's just me. This is why I like to look at numbers because sometimes our eyes can deceive us. Our eyes, you can't really go off the eye test all the time. Yeah, I use it to address talent, right? Because I think that you can see who's going to be a good player. Like, oh, this player is nice, but you can't use it all the way for everything because I thought the Knicks would be like way, worse with when it comes to turnovers. We're still doing a great job handling the rock. 13.1 turnovers, third ranked in the league, third lowest in the league. And in the previous 10-game stretch, we were 12.7 in turnovers. So we did go up a little bit in the turnover rank, but guess what? We were ranked fourth. So how do we get more turnovers but go up in rankings because other teams are also turning over the ball? So the turnovers is not a big deal. The turnovers is not a big deal. It's definitely something that we don't want to see rise because the Knicks are a really good team when they don't turn over the ball. I mean, I think it's just very key, but I feel like recently we've been turning over the ball a lot, right? Against the Spurs game, I don't think we turned. I think we might have only had 5 turnovers, but prior to that, we was getting a lot more turnovers. So that's where we are in terms of the number 2 ranked offense right now. But I do want to talk about some offensive shortcomings because not everything is perfect on the offensive side. Not everything is too bad, but there is a couple of bad stats. I'm not gonna lie. Like 3 points, as you can see, there's 3 points attempt right here in blue. I got my mouse hovering over it. That's not good, y'all. 3 points attempts, right? 36.8, right? We shoot such a great rate. We should be shooting more three. We shouldn't be 18th in 3-point attempts. I think we should shoot at least a couple of more threes a game because we're shooting them at a high clip. I just think that the offense will run a little bit more efficiency if we could get attempts up. I know Coach Tibbs also wants more threes because he said he wants the team to shoot 40 threes a game. I think that I'm not sure if 40 is the right amount, but I do think like more threes wouldn't hurt this team, especially since they're shooting so great. So we're 18th in 3 points attempt. Of course, we talked about free throws already, but we only make 16 free throws a game, right? We could easily get this up to 20 if we put more of an initiative in attacking the basket and getting, or not even just attacking the basket, just drawing fouls, period. Head fakes, whatever. I think this team, we shy away from contact. You see Mikal Bridges, salute to Mikal Bridges. He likes to fade away, right? He likes to fade away. Towns, it shows that he wants to absorb contact, blowing by centers, driving in on them and things of that nature. Jalen Brunson, he embraces the contact. Outside of those 2 guys, no one is embracing contact. These guys are shooting 30, I'm not gonna say 30. I'm gonna say they're shooting threes, a lot of long range shots, and they're a really good 2-point team, 2-point shooting team. I think 2-pointers too. Like we should also try to not force the issue, but we should try to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm gonna say that's the right word, not force. We don't want to force anything. We want to be more aggressive though, because I think that these are areas on the offensive end where we can actually be, more efficient, right? It's all about efficiency for me, even though we number 2 offense. But okay, so and then also free throws attempted, right? 20. We got to get more up, right? Even if we've said, okay, let's add 5 more free throws to, our average, right? And then let's say we add 5 more, and then we go even 3 for 2. So let's say we go to 19 free throws made and 25 free throws attempted. I could live with that. We need to get more free throws up. And then another thing too, another stat that free throws are tied to is drawing fouls. Now, drawing fouls, 17.4, which is no, hold on, I'm sorry. No, not that. Nope, wrong. I'm looking at the wrong stat. Right here, the blue. This is the opponent. Okay, so real quickly, this is the opponent, right? The bottom half of this. The top half where you see all the yellow, that's us. The bottom half where you see a lot of the blue, and we're going to get to that in a second, that's the opponents. So this is what the opponents are doing against us. The opponents are fouling us 18.8 times. That's ranked 22 in the league. We need to draw more fouls. That goes against what I've been saying about avoiding the contact and being more aggressive and trying to draw fouls and attacking the basket, right? We're more finesse, fast break, like avoid contact. We need to take the bump. Brunson does it. Towns has been doing it, but the other guys, they need to do it more. We got a lot of guys that want to shoot fadeaways and campaign shooting 20-some feet out. We need to draw more fouls. I think it could only do us better. But I'm not mad at it all the way though, guys, because once again, like they said, the field goal percentage, right? The 3-point percentage, all of that's pretty high. So if that stays up there, hey, maybe this is what you have to sacrifice, because no team is perfect. Trust me, you go to every team's basketball reference, you're gonna see some glaring weaknesses and concerns. Also, another stat is points. 16 points, 117 points a night. I think that's amongst the best the Knicks have ever done in the season, by the way, point total wise. I could look that up right quick since we in research mode. Let me pull that up. Let me get one of my browsers open just to fact check that. By the way, I jumped out of research mode. Salute to everybody that just joined. This is the Knicks in 10. I'm going through a whole lot of stats. So if you just joined, you missed a lot, but it's okay. Replay gang. I'm gonna try not to make this video too much longer. Definitely below the 2-hour mark, but we still got a little bit more to go in terms of stat wise. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the points real quickly because I'm going to see if this is the highest. I think it is, but I like to be thorough and accurate when I'm on the mic. I don't get on here and freestyle, y'all. I get on here and I speak the truth. So let me see if I could find that right quick. Hold on. In terms of points. Oh, they don't got it here. Okay. It definitely will be amongst the league. What I'm looking at right now, you guys can't see. I'm looking at the 70s right quick. Just to make sure there ain't no team from the 70s doing. Yeah. What I'm looking at right now, if the Knicks finish with 117 points, the 117 points that we was looking at, that will be the most points of all time. But I just wanted to be thorough and make sure I'm checking factuals and make sure everything's good. Let me see. Crowns that said enjoy the game. I'm on my way to the couch. Salute to you. E. Gibson, NYK play their best ball when we play unselfish. I feel like this team is still building an identity. Yeah, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. I do think that this whole season is going to be building, not like rebuilding like a team that's bad, right? Not rebuilding, but like building on the foundation that we're trying to establish already. So you're going to see this team get better, and like we spoke about last night, I don't think any of us would be mad if the Knicks don't win the championship. I don't think we're at that level yet, right? Would you guys be mad if the Knicks don't win the championship? I don't think we're there. But I do think we expect at least Eastern Conference Finals. I think we're there, right? I think that Eastern Conference Finals, boom. And then next year we come back because we're going to have the same team, right? Next year we're going to be better. You know that. So it might take us a year to get to where we want to be, right? So, yeah. Let me see. Salute to Brightest Future. Let me see what he's saying. On my way to the game. You think it's gonna be a slow game? 100. Yeah. That's how the Magic played last night. They had an Eastern Conference, old school Eastern Conference game last night. Look, this is their score, 89-88. Because the Magic, they don't. First off, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna record after I get off this live. I'm gonna record my game breakdown that I always do, but like previews and reviews. First off, the Magic don't got no half court offense at all. I'm just telling you right now. The half-court offense ain't there. How they're trying to score is turning defense into offense. That's what they do. Even rebounds. When they get the rebound, they out. They run it. They got these young lineup, these young guys, some guy named Queen and Silva. These guys are trying to run all day. These guys are running all day. So, but when the game slows down and it gets into a half-court system, they're going to struggle. They have only Jalen Suggs is the only thing they got. He's been playing really good, except when he plays against us, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, tonight's game is gonna be where it's at. Let me see what you guys talking about. Yeah, okay, no rebounds. We're gonna get to rebounds. I'm glad you brought up rebounds. I'm gonna show you why we are not a bad rebounding team. Knicks will be champs says if we got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, whoa, yeah, I understand you'll be mad. I'll be upset too. I don't see the Knicks getting swept. This team is too tough to get swept. We haven't got swept. Even when we lost to Miami, it was 6-2. This team is not getting swept. This is not, even when we lost to Atlanta. How many of you guys remember Alfred Payton, right? We had won one game, right? So yeah, I don't think this team has getting swept in them. Nah, yeah, that's not even reality. I'm not even gonna play ourselves like that. But yeah, that's the Orlando game. Let me get back into some of these stats because I wanna touch on a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna get to rebounding in a second, right? I'm gonna show you guys why we're not that bad of a rebounding team as you might think. Next, I'm gonna talk about defense, and this is the one area of the video, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be kind of depressing. Our defense is not good, okay, but it is getting better. So salute to the Knicks for making improvements. And I said this on a couple of different broadcasts. I'm gonna say it here if you guys didn't hear. People act like the Knicks defense was all good all year last year. It really wasn't. The Knicks, our defense right now is better than where our defense was last year. This, just for the record, last year around this time, I can't find those screenshots, but last year around this time, we was like late teens, early 20s defensive ranking. When we got OG Anunoby and Hartenstein started to establish himself, that's when we became a better defensive team. But early in the season, up to this point, we're a way better team than we were last year, offensively and defensively. So the Knicks have improved from last season. It's safe to say that. The numbers say it. We are a better team from last season. So when you guys harp on defense and act as though last year was the standard for defense, I'm trying to tell you, last year at this time, that team was not good defensively. They really wasn't. We were getting smoked defensively. And so that means that we have the potential to get better. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. So I'm going to get into some of these defensive stats. Now, everybody wants to look at steals and blocks, right? Steals and blocks. I already showed on the last Knicks in 10 show, when you look at steals and blocks, 27th in blocks, 4.2 a game, 24th in steals, 7.6 a game. The Knicks are never good at blocks and steals. We weren't good last year at blocks and steals. I don't really care about blocks and steals. Blocks and steals do not tell me you're a good defensive team. You may be good at elements of defense, like first forcing turnovers, things of that nature, but just getting blocks and steals does not mean you're a good defensive team, right? And I'm going to show you why. So yeah, we know we always subpar in that, right? However, but just to be a little bit more positive, even though the numbers pretty much stayed the same, I mean, we do average a little bit more steals thanks to OG Anunoby, who I think has a steal every game in the last like 10 games or something like that. He's on a crazy stretch of steals. But we improved a couple of tenths of a point, and we also improved our ranking. So in the last 10 games prior to this stretch, right, in terms of ranking, we were 25th in steals, and then now we're 24th. And then we also improved our ranking in blocks from 20. No, did we improve? Yeah, we improved our ranking in blocks, 28. So it's a work in progress. Most of our defensive stats that are bad, we've gotten better at. Let me show you. Opponents 3 points. Here, see now, to me, when you look at the opponents' numbers right here, and our prowess in terms of guarding these guys, percentage-wise, this is more important than blocks and steals. Because this tells the real story of efficiency. Our team's efficient against you, right? So look, when you look at the blue, I'm on the opponent side, by the way. The bottom half of this grid here, okay? The bottom half of this grid here. So when we look at the opponents and what they're shooting, here is a big area of concern. All three-point shooting. We're 19th in holding opponents to 13.7 threes. So yeah, we're creating some separation because it was a little closer last time in the last stretch of 10 games, right? But at the same time, teams are pretty much shooting within the three of what we're shooting. So if we're killing it, right, and we got 16 threes, our opponent is shooting 15 threes. So it kind of nullifies what the effectiveness of the three-point shooting. So we definitely have to step up our three-point defense. Our 3-point defense to me is a glaring weakness, right? In terms of 3-pointer attempts, teams are getting up 37.4 threes against us. We're averaging 36.4. So teams are literally getting up one more three a game than we get up. So like I said, once again, we could be shooting the lights out, or we could be getting these threes up. Our opponents are shooting more threes than us. That is an area of concern. So even though you're the number 2 ranked 3-point shooting team in terms of percentage, your opponents are performing like they're also top 5. And that's what's coming back to bite us a lot of the times, right? We did improve because in the previous stretch of 10 games, right, we were 38.5. Opponents were shooting 38.5% from downtown. Shooting 38.5 attempts. So we've actually reduced our opponent's attempts by 1. That's hard to control that. I don't really care how many threes the opponent is shooting. I care more about makes, which we're not good at makes. But also what shows efficiency on defense is 3-point percentage. So yes, we are number 2, and it's hard to shoot at the level the Knicks shoot at. It's very hard to shoot close to 40% from threes. The overwhelming majority of teams are not within a point or two to 48%, to 40%, I mean. Now, when you look at the opponent's shooting about 37%, which is not 40, right? So they're definitely 3 percentage points less than us. But it's still a very high clip because I think the league average is around 36%. So our opponents are shooting around the league average for 3-point makes, which is not good. And we're 22nd in the league in doing that. That's our real, to me, out of everything else you can do on defense, these numbers right here bother me the most because it takes away from our advantage. Teams are shooting damn near on the same level as us when they play us. Not on average, not their numbers, on average. Now, you get a game like against the Magic tonight. The Magic, we know they're not a good 3-point shooting team. They're the worst 3-point shooting team in basketball. Hopefully, they don't get their confidence up. And these young boys, like I said, they got these young guys who have no conscience. They're not scared. They're balling. Hopefully, they don't go off. But typically, the Magic don't shoot well, right? So I'm hopeful that, the Magic don't get it going. Then we got Washington twice. So maybe we can improve than Utah. So maybe we can improve on some of these numbers. And when we do this again, the numbers will look a lot better. But right now, the 3 points is bad. Here's another thing, too, on defense that I look at. Forcing turnovers. We don't do a great job forcing turnovers. Right now, we're 3rd in the league ourselves, right? We're 3rd in the league right now, 13.1 turnovers, right? Fantastic. That's great. 3rd ranked. But our opponents become top 5. Our opponents are averaging 13.3 turnovers. So we're not taking advantage of some defense to offense, right? Just getting guys in transition, getting open shots, all of those things. We're not doing a great job of taking advantage of that. So, and we're 27th in the league right now. So we don't force turnovers, right? We're not a great 3-point defensive team, right? What are we doing out there? Those are some of the glaring numbers that concern me on the defensive end. However, we're not amongst the worst teams defensively, right? So as you can see here, I didn't go over the offensive rating because we number 2 in offensive rating. I didn't really feel no real need to highlight that. But defensive rating, we're 14th. We're 14th in the league. How many of you guys knew that we were 14th in the league in defensive rating? Previously, in terms of defensive rating, I think we were, hold on, I'll just go right here. So previously we was 20th. So we jumped up 6 spots. I got my mouse over it. I don't want to zoom in, but if you see my mouse, I know it's a little smaller. We were 20th in defensive rating. You go fast forward to where we are now, we're 14th. Who's to say we don't go up another 5 or 6 spots and now we're a top 5 defense, just like that? Just saying. The defense is tracking better. I don't know if we're going to be a better 3-point defending team. I hope we do, because I feel like that's going to be an area of concern. But I think something's going to have to give. You're going to have to get out of the bottom 10 enforcing turnovers, and or 3-point defense. So let's see what happens. I don't think it's nothing to be so gloomy and gloom about. I'm just showing you areas that we need to improve upon. And Coach Tibbs, I know he knows this, right? Salute to the great Coach Tibbs. I think they're going to tighten this up. I think part of what's going to happen, you get Mitch back. I think he makes us a better team overall. Not that he's guarding the perimeter, but now when you get Mitchell Robinson back, you're going to see OG more at the 3, right? Mikal more at the 2. And I'm hopeful that, and Josh Hart at the 2, 3, right? Not at the 4. I'm hopeful that keeping those guys in those positions, you'll see the perimeter defense improve, right? Just naturally by being there. Because right now, OG Anunoby, we just seen him guard Wemby in the fourth quarter, right? OG's guarding big men. He's guarding a lot of big guys. So I'm hopeful that OG can, step ahead. And he has. He's, like I said, he's been getting a steal every game for the longest now. So I'm very hopeful that OG Anunoby can step up where he was and do what he has to do. I'm trying to hear, what's that sound? It's like a clicking sound. Hold on. 2 seconds. Oh, that's my phone going. Hold on. Let me move my phone from the mic. I thought something was wrong with the mic. All right, we good. But yeah, so we definitely have to improve on one of these stats. Let me see what you guys talking about in the chat before I move on. By the way, salute to Maxine in the building. Salute to all the mods, Knicks Tape Madness, Discord server people, channel members. I do appreciate you guys. I see you guys in the building. Oh, by the way, salute to Simon. Dorkosaurus Rex in the building, man. Yo, Simon, man, I love your calls, man. Keep calling. By the way, we will be doing another Knicks call-up show next week, Friday, right? Of course, we got the podcast on Monday, but next week, Friday, will be the next call-up show. No worries. All you have to do is check the community section of this video, and I'll post it because I don't have the flyer loaded here. I forgot to upload it here. It's fine. You'll get all the information in the community section. Once again, if you like the Knicks hats you see scrolling on the side here, all you have to do is go to This Week Inside the Knicks.com, click on Cool Hats, and you'll be able to get discount links to all of these hats, y'all. Trust me, yo. You see my hats. My hats always fly. I got one of the most flyest Knick hat collection in the community, I feel. I'm trying, But if you like any of these hats here, you can get them for a discounted price on thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. Even if you go to theobjectiveknicksfan.com, you'll be able to get to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com by just clicking on the podcast. You'll see the link there. So all the websites are all connected. So if you interested in any of these hats, like I said, you get them right now for a discounted price exclusively on my link. And you can just go to the websites. So let me see. E. Gibson, our 3-point defense has improved since earlier this season, but it still needs to get better. Facts. That's what I'm saying. Like, something has to give. Like, it's either we're going to force more turnovers or we're going to play better defense on the 3-point line because teams are matching us. Like, we're number 2. They're like number 5 every night. So it's like the number 2 3-point team going up against the number 5 team. And that's not, it's cutting into our edge. It really is cutting into what we are thriving at, right? Let me see what else you guys talking about. I'm going to jump into rebounds next. I'm going to show you why the Knicks are a good rebounding team. Be surprised to those of you guys that probably didn't watch the last Knick in 10. PD says Suggs is coming for revenge. Be ready. Of course Suggs is coming. Guys, this Orlando game is not going to be easy. I'm going to say this, though. If the Orlando Magic game is easy, bro, yeah, the Knicks we definitely on a higher level. If this game tonight is easy and we beat them again, because we've been smacking the Magic. I ain't gonna lie. If we blow them out in Orlando again, that's saying something to me. That's definitely saying something. But like Maxine said, let's get the likes up, man. Let's go. I agree. Let's get the likes up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. You're now rocking with the most poppin' Knicks YouTube channel on the net. So, definitely get the likes up and subscribe if you're not. Let me see. Tony Starks. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, Tony Starks. I appreciate that, man. Look, man, I try to buy a Knick hat, at least 2 Knick hats a month, or sometimes I do once a week. Wifey, she's like, you always buy a Knick hat. She don't understand. Listen, I am not a jersey guy. I got my own shirts, by the way. But I'm not a jersey guy. You know, yeah, jerseys are cool. I got a couple of jerseys, but I like to wear my hats though. My hats, yeah. Every day you might see me with a Knick hat. If I don't got a fresh cut, I'm rocking a Knick hat every day. You know what I'm saying? I got wool hats. I got a nice collection of Knick hats, man. Literally, I can go the month rocking a different Knick hat each and every day for sure, guaranteed. I'm talking about something nice too. Yeah. So thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let me see if any other chats I missed. Looks like I'm caught up on all the major stuff, man. Keep them coming, y'all. I know this is not the call-up show. I'm going in right now. I'm gonna show you guys why we are a better rebounding team, though, than people give us credit for. Now, this is the smoke and mirror stat, right? Like sometimes you got to go deeper than just like the number, right? Like right now, you in red. I got it highlighted in red right here, right? So when you look at rebounding, you look at 42 rebounds a game, that's 24th in the league. You look at 33 defensive rebounds a game, that's 20th in the league. You look at 9.7 offensive rebounds a game, that's 22 in the league, right? So just looking at that, you're like, oh man, the Knicks don't do a good job on the glass. Here's why I'm going to tell you're wrong. Here's why I'm going to tell you why this stat doesn't matter. The stat right below it, which once again, as you can see, this is opponents. So the same thing works for us in a positive light. Remember how we spoke about the three-point shooting? How teams are shooting more threes than us. They're making within the three of us, right? So they're performing like a top 5 team. Well, on any given night, and most nights, in fact, the Knicks are dominating the glass as if they were the superior rebounding team. We're just rebounding at a lesser clip. Now, offensive rebounds, when you're a great shooting team, your offensive rebounds are always going to be low because there's no reason to get no opportunities. You're making your shots. Does that make sense? Can you guys agree with me on that? If you're making more shots, 40% from three, 40% from three, damn near 50% from the field, you're not going to get the same amount of offensive rebounds as you did last year. And if you want to look at last year, I can do that real quickly. I'm going to pull up I'm opening up the wrong browser. Hold on. If you want to look at last year, we can do that real quickly. I got it right here. Bam. Okay, cool. So this is last year's rankings, y'all, right? All right, let me make this a little smaller. All right. So last year, right, when you look at rebounding, look at where we were 14th in three-point percentage. We were in the top three-point shooting team. 20th in field goal percentage last year. You guys see this? Where my mouse is? We were 20th in field goal percentage ranking in the league at 46%. If you're not shooting great, you're going to be a better offensive rebounding team. That's why we were the #1 offensive rebounding team. Do you see the connection there? All right, so I'm going to go back to where we are now. When you're the #1 team, #2 team shooting the ball, offensive rebounds don't matter like that. There's less opportunities to get offensive rebounds because you're making more shots, right? Okay, cool. But when you look at the opponent's stats on the bottom, we're top 10 in limiting our opponent in getting more offensive rebounds than us. Or getting a lot of offensive rebounds, not more than us. They're getting more than us on average, right? We're getting 9.7. The opponent is getting 10.3. But we're still ranked number 8 in opponent's offensive rebounding. We're in the top 10, believe it or not, in the offense. Well, it's not technically offensive rebounding because it's on defense. But bottom line is we're limiting the opposing team from crashing their own glass, right? Now, part of that argument could also be because the opposing teams are shooting. Well, they're not necessarily. No, you can't even use that argument because the opposing team. Well, yeah, you can. Okay, yeah. So it still would be like the opponent's team are shooting better too. So maybe they don't need to get as many offensive rebounds, and we play at a slower pace. So maybe they don't need to get as many rebounds either. Okay, cool. But what about the defensive rebounding side? Because typically you average way more defensive rebounds than you do offensive rebounds. We're number 2 in the league right now in holding the opponent to just 30 defensive rebounds a game. We're +3 in defensive rebounding each and every night. Salute to the Knicks, man. How many of you guys knew that? When you say we're not a good rebounding team, are you really looking at the whole picture? That's what I'm saying. Like, some of these stats you can't really look at independently. That's why these rating stats, like, I'm not the biggest advanced stat guy. Everybody who knows me will tell you that. I'm not an all-in defensive rating. I'm gonna look at the super advanced metrics. I don't really care about that. Some of the advanced ratings, the advanced stats is important. Like offensive rating and defensive rating is probably 2 of the most important ranking of advanced stats that you really can rely on because it encompasses everything, not just blocks and steals. It encompasses a whole lot. And this tells a better story as to where you are based off these same numbers that we're looking at. So we're number 2 in holding teams off the glass, right? And then also we're number 2 in total rebounds, opponents. They're only getting 40 rebounds a game, right? 40, well, they give them 41. Give us 43, give them 41. We're +2 every night on the glass. We're +2 every night on the glass. I call it here the rebounding conundrum because if you look at the Knicks numbers just on our side of the floor, you'll say, oh, you're not a good rebounding team. But when you look at what's actually going on, the bigger picture, we are one of the better rebounding teams in the league because we're keeping the opponents off of the glass. And I can show you how that translates. So right now, here's some stats I don't have on the screen. I'm just going to read these out. So right now, the most astonishing stat to me is, oh, you know what? Actually, I could do it. I could put it on the screen. Hold on. I could do it. It's just not going to be as clear, but I can show you what I'm looking at so you guys can see it. I just thought about that. Let me do that right quick. Hold on. Let me go to this season, and then I'm going to go to, so Basketball Reference is this website I use a lot. I use NBA.com sometimes too when I want to look at more advanced stats, but to me, Basketball Reference is just like the most simplest, fastest way I could get the stuff. When I go to NBA.com, I feel like my head is just going to pop off because it's just too much information. Right here, I know where to get everything. So look. So this is where we are. When we get more rebounds than the opposing team, I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this clearly. I don't want to zoom out. I might have to zoom out. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So this is us right here. Total rebounds. I'm going to show you. When we dominate the glass, and it's going to be hard to show you guys. Hold on. All right, this might be better. So look, when we dominate the glass, 60 rebounds, right? This is us. I'm going to use my mouse. If you follow my mouse, you'll be able to see it. This is the opponents, 40 rebounds, right? This was the Pelicans game, right? Look at all the wins. See all these wins? Like 19, 20 wins right here, right? And this is all games we dominating the glass. The Knicks is 19-1. When they dominate the glass, meaning they get more rebounds than their opponent. Salute to the Knicks for doing that. 19-1. We're 1-8 when we don't win the rebounding battle. On most nights, if the Knicks is crashing the glass, a la the Atlanta game, right? That's why I salute to you guys if you go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com to keep up with the Knicks and because I write game reviews and things of that nature. If you guys been reading some of my articles, I told you guys this a long time ago, why we lost to the Hawks. It simply could be this stat right here is rebounding. The Hawks out, and I can show you the game right here. Look, this is the Atlanta Hawks, right? No, this game, wait, hold on. We lost to the Hawks twice, right? This game right here. Okay, cool. Both games we were out rebounded, by the way. But this is the game I'm talking about. When we lost to them by 8 points, the NBA Cup game, we had 49 rebounds. They had 58 rebounds. Right? 58. And we had, hold on, just get it right. We had what, 49 rebounds. 58 to 49. We got out rebounded. Anytime the Knicks is getting out rebounded, yeah, we gonna lose, guys. That's just what it is. but we've been doing a good job dominating the glass on most nights. So you don't have to get the most rebounds to be a good rebounding team. Let me know if that makes sense to you guys, man. Oh, Knicks will be champs says DP make size 10 fitted hats. What size 10? Who has a size 10? Who needs a size 10? Who needs a size 10 fitted hat? I don't know. I don't wear fitted hats. All my hats are snapback. I don't do the fitted hat, you know? By the way, salute the Knicks 100, man. Thank you again for calling in last night, man. I appreciate you calling in, man. I really do appreciate that. You had some good perspective. And you know what, Knicks 100? I'm glad you brought balance to the conversation to show that, yeah, not all Knicks fans agree 100% on everything. But Knicks 100, yeah, unlike Mitch, most of Cat rebounds are defensive. Facts. And that's but Knicks 100, you just hit it on the nail. Mitch is going to bring the offensive rebounding, and Cat brings the defensive rebounding. It should make for a great recipe for success and wins. But yes, rebounding, we're not as bad as you think. And that's another thing I was going to get into, but Nick 100, salute to you, brother. You always on point. He beat me to it. Mitchell Robinson is going to make us a better rebounding team. So that was the other caveat I was going to get to. But salute to Nick 100 for that. Another thing I could show you real quick. I know this is not the best presentation because of just the way the windows are set up, but at least it's still some visuals here so you can see what I'm guys talking about. So when I'm reading off stats, it's not just like you have something to look at. Another stat I'm going to get into, every time the Knicks get 30 assists or more, you actually can see this a lot better. So 30 assists, right? Anytime the Knicks get 30 assists or more, the Knicks, their current record is 13-1. We was talking about this last night with my man Ron out of Baltimore. Salute to Ron out of Baltimore. He's a Knicks fan. He was asking me, what's the stat? This is the correct stat right here. The Knicks are 13-1 when they get 30 plus assists. When the ball is moving, this Knicks team is unbeatable. And the only loss came, and check this out, y'all. This is why I love numbers and doing research. Only time we lost the game when we got 30 or more assists was the Chicago game, y'all. The game we were supposed to win. The game where Josh Hart fouled Kobe White. That was the only time we lost the game when we had 30 plus assists. And that was a 1-point game. We should be 14-0. When the ball moves, number 2 offense, I think we're going to get back to number 1 in this next 10-game stretch. No reason why we can't. Cleveland's number 1, by the way. If you want to know who's the number 1 offensive team, it is Cleveland. They're also number 1 in field goals and 3-point percentage, right? So we're number 2. We're on their heels. I ain't worried about that. But yeah, when the ball moves, I'm going to tell you another stat too to confirm this, because sometimes these numbers are interchangeable. And you know what? I'll get this on the screen too. Why not? Jalen Brunson. There's another stat regarding our captain, Jalen Brunson. I still got to get into individual stats. Got to move a little quicker. But I'm going to pull up Jalen Brunson real quickly. Jalen Brunson, our captain. I'm going to go to his game logs. This stat right here, honestly, was the most surprising stat to me, right? So this is Jalen Brunson's game logs, right? So check this out. I'm going to look at points, right? You see all this 39, 37? I don't care about none of that. I'm going to inverse it. I'm going to look at when Jalen Brunson doesn't score over 20 points. Okay? When Jalen Brunson scores sub 20 points, as you can see on the screen, the Knicks is 6-1. I can show you last year. I don't want to, because I got to move fast. But last year, it wasn't like that. Last year, we needed the Jalen Brunson to get over 20 points. We are 6-1 this year. Right? You can see it on the screen. When he scores under 20 points, all these are wins right here. Philadelphia, Pelicans, Milwaukee. We lost to Atlanta. Okay, we lost. This is the NBA Cup loss. Beat Minnesota. Honestly, and once again, going back to this Atlanta game, I did a write-up on this. And I put in the write-up, Jalen Brunson, will last year's Jalen Brunson please stand up? It was that moment where we needed Brunson to be Brunson from last year, and he just didn't have a good game. Not killing the captain, but sometimes we need him to do that, even though the numbers say this. But Minnesota, Brooklyn, Toronto, of course, most of these teams are not good teams. Bottom line is, when the ball is moving. But look at his assist. Here's why. To go a little deeper. 7 assists, 10 assists, 7 assists, 8 assists, 9 assists, 9 assists. So he's getting guys involved. He's dishing the ball more. That's why the Knicks are having a success. And of course, the Philly game was a blowout. So, he only played 34 minutes. But, when Jalen Brunson's getting over 9 assists, 8 assists, adding to the assist total, thus creating more success. So, yeah, all these stats are interconnected, and it really gives us a bigger picture as to what was going on. Towns, he had 18 rebounds in a row, 18 double-digit rebound games, double-double games in a row up until the Spurs, Wemby going up against Wemby, he only got 9 rebounds. We broke that. And here's my last stat I want to show you guys, and I got to move because I want to get to some individual stuff. But look, here's the last stat I'm going to show you guys. I don't care about the Knicks. See, this is when the Knicks is shooting above 40%. Oh man, they shooting the lights out. I want to show you what happens when. Hold on, just make sure I got this right. Oh yeah, no, I'm right. I'm on the right page. I'm getting on myself. So what we're looking at right now is what happens when the Knicks shoot, right? A certain percentage from the floor. Let's look at when the Knicks shoot over 40% from the floor. You can see here the Knicks are 14-2 when they shoot over 30%, over 40% from the floor, right? Pretty much outpacing this. Let me show you why the numbers are so important. When the Knicks shoot over 40% from the floor, right, above our average, our opponent's teams can't keep up. They're only shooting 37%. When you push that up above 40, it takes our performance against the opponents to another level, and that's why it's translating to more wins. Okay? That's not the stat I wanted to talk about. I talked about the assists, 40% from 3. I'm trying to see because let me see, 6 and 3. What is this 6 and 3? I don't know what that 6 and 3. I'm back out of it. So yeah, that's the team stats right now, and how the Knicks is performing. I'm gonna jump into some individual stuff real quickly, but before I do, I'm gonna see if anybody else just joined the chat. If you just joined the chat, this is the Knicks in 10 show. I'm doing a deep dive. We went over a lot of stats, so replay game, rewind game. It's a lot that I went over, showing where the Knicks are. I still got a little bit more left. I'm gonna try to move a little faster because I don't want to make this video too long. But I also want to see what you guys talking about in the chat. Let me see. Knicks 100. I don't ever call into shows ever. I called in twice, and all my time watching Knicks content, man. Sim show and yours. Oh man, yo, Knicks 100. Listen, man, this is the best show to do it, man. This is the best show. The reason why I did the call-up show is because my channel is kind of designed with me talking a lot. So I wanted to balance out a little bit and get a show for you guys to talk. That's why I let you guys rock. This is probably the only show that you could call into, and I'll let you go for a long time. As long as we don't once we start getting more calls, then I had to cut the calls shorter. But I was letting guys rock out 15, 18-minute calls. Great conversation. Now, if you get on there talking nonsense, I'm gonna have to chop your call in half. I can't allow it. But I'm still giving people the freedom to express themselves because, yeah, we can learn together. The only difference between probably me and a lot of you guys, I just read a lot. I ain't gonna lie, I read a lot and I watch a lot of basketball. So yeah, I pay attention to a lot. So if you're not paying attention to as much, it may, I may know a little bit more, but at the same time, we all learning. And this is level-headed Knicks talk. This is what this channel is about. I'm here to enhance the fan experience, but I'm also here to balance the scales because there's a lot of nonsense. So salute to you, brother. I appreciate you calling in. E. Gibson, 19-1 when out rebounding teams is a huge stat. Yo, E. Gibson. When I'm watching the game, salute to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, right? And I'm gonna show you guys how to get in there in a second. But 19-1, when I'm watching the games and we chatting in the 24/7 Knicks chat, I'm only looking at rebounds. So like if I say, yo, guys, it's not looking good, it's because I'm solely looking at rebounds. Like rebounding has been the most definitive stat I've seen all year. Yes, the assists, right? Of course, the 13-1 with the assists, the 14-2 shooting above 40%. That's all cool. That's all well and dandy. Rebounding the ball and how dominant we are keeping the opponents from rebounding, that is the number one, and that right there to me is the number one stat to look at. So when you're watching games now, look at the box score and look at the rebounds, and you're gonna see how the Knicks are doing. It tells, I'm telling you, there's gonna be parts in the game you're like, damn, why are we down 8 right now? Oh, we -3 on the glass. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Let me see. Salute to White Falcon. When Cat sits down, Brunson and Bridges need to work it out. Bridges dropping buckets will help Brunson. Facts. And I think that offense, I don't think is the issue at all. Looking at what we looked at, the offense is fine. The only thing they could do offensively, right, is like we said, some of the things we said offensively they can do is shoot more threes, right? Shoot more free throws for sure. Forget threes. They don't even have to shoot more threes. Free throws, yeah, they got to shoot more free throws, right? And then drawing fouls. Come on, guys. We 80% from the line. We got to draw more fouls. Those are the only offensive areas I'm concerned about. Everything else is kind of like whatever goes, goes. Let me see. Like Falcon, no turnovers, rebounding, hustle tactics. To be an elite squad. Facts. We got rebounds, we got hustle, we got turnovers. Only thing is we don't force turnovers, but that's fine. But we don't turn over the ball. Definitely, we got the building blocks to be that team that you're talking about. I agree. So real quickly, I'm gonna show some. I'm gonna try to get through this a little fast because I don't really care about this. Is like surface stuff, you know, like the only thing good about tracking the points and stuff like that is I can see, you know, how well these guys are performing throughout the year. And I know who's doing better and who's not. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. But Mikal Bridges +2 in points. He was around 16 the last time we did this show. He's now 18. He stepped his field goal percentage up. And he's definitely stepped his three ball up 30%. 3%, actually. 3%. 3% increase on the three ball. He was 34%. Now he's 37%. Mikal Bridges is my early pick for player of the month. He has been phenomenal, and his performance in the last 10 games have brought him to this point. Mikal Bridges is the only real Knick to really thrive in something. Towns, we know, number one rebounding. His block, he did drop a little bit on the blocks. That's fine. No, actually, no, he maintained that. No, he did get a 10th of a block, but he's still not a block yet. Right? Towns, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to make a big deal about that, especially when we get Mitch back, because that's going to be Mitch's job. Mitch's job is going to be to go in there and block shots. OG Anunoby steals. You know, he improved 2/10 of a steal. And I'm trying to see if OG can get it to 2 steals a game. I think he's really finding his groove in that mark. I'm gonna get to a defensive rating too in a second, but I would love to see him get that to 2. I think if OG can get his steals to 2, keep his blocks at 1, he might be a candidate. Of course, if he meets the 65 game mark too, he'll definitely be a strong candidate to be a defensive player of the year. I mean, not player of the year, but defensive team rather. Not defensive player of the year. Wemby's going to be defensive player of the year. As far as assists, Jalen Brunson right here. You know, I would love to see Brunson get it to 8. We see the effects of more assists. And when we do get these 30 assist games, 39 assist games, big time assist games, Jalen Brunson is the catalyst. He has like 9, 8, 10 assists. I think Jalen Brunson getting closer to 8 assists. By the time that we do the show again, I would love to see that improvement. And everybody's scoring is slightly down, which doesn't matter because we're still a number 2 offensive rated team. Right? Like this team is going to be about sacrifice. And also, since we've done this show, Precious Achiuwa came into the lineup as well. I'm not saying he's taking that many shots, but getting him acclimated into the system, you know, guys are sacrificing. That's all well and dandy. I don't really care much about points, but that is points if you want to take a snapshot. By the way, yeah, if you want to take screenshots of my screen, I forgot to say that, you can, so you could document it and know exactly what was going on during this point in the season. Feel free to do that at any point. But I'm going to move a little faster. So now we're going to get into some rating stats. Now, offensive rating, to me, Basketball Reference and NBA.com have 2 different ways they calculate offensive rating. That's why I'm not going to really get into offensive rating too much. Though it says here Josh Hart is like one of the top guys in offensive rating. But I'm more focused on defensive rating right now. And this is for my Karl Anthony Towns people. Consistently this entire year, Karl Anthony Towns has had the best defensive rating on the team. What does that mean? Yes, there's certain things that defensive rating don't account for. Like Mikal Bridges, you see him here 117, right? Amongst the worst of rotation players on the team. But Mikal Bridges is guarding tougher matchups. That's why Mikal's defensive rating is not as high. I don't really care about Mikal Bridges' defensive rating, especially if his offense is going to continue the way it is. He actually improved 1 point. He was 118 when we last checked. He's now 117. So he is getting better in defensive rating. He actually had some stretches recently where he's been locking down really good guards. So I'm not worried about Mikal Bridges' defense. OG Anunoby, he improved his defensive ratings from 114 to 113. So salute to OG for getting better defensively. His rating was also kind of low too, or lower than standard, because he's also guarding the biggest, toughest forwards, right? He's guarding some really, and that's the only real shortcoming defensive rating has. It doesn't account for who you're guarding. So that's why you'll see, I'm going to pull up in a second, I'm going to pull up the top 25, right? All year, the Knicks didn't have no one in the top 25 until this stretch. I'm going to show that in a second. But that's why you'll see some guys up there, they're not guarding anybody. Like, so if you see Trae Young has a good defensive rating, he ain't guarding nobody, y'all. Like, so yes, who you're guarding does matter. So I coupled that along with the defensive rating, and that's why I'm not tripping off of the numbers. But bringing it back to Karl Anthony Towns, you see the 108. That's definitely the best on the Knicks. Precious Achiuwa also has a 108, right? And Precious Achiuwa has played 10 games thus far. So in Precious Achiuwa's 10 games, 108, our defense gets better. Precious Achiuwa is playing a role in our defense improving. And I'm hopeful that when Mitch gets back, his rating will also be good, and that will translate to the team having better defensive rating, because it is an average of what these guys are doing too. That is factored into team defensive rating. Let me show you real quickly what I'm talking about, right? And this is why you can't just go off the stat. You have to be able to actually like make real connections, right? That's why the analysts get paid a lot of money. Like people like that, you crap on the analysts, but doing this stuff is not easy, especially when you're not looking at certain key details. By the way, this is the best team and the best players thus far this season in defensive rating. Sengun, an amazing 102. SGA, right? Jalen Williams. You're going to see all the OKC guys up here. All these guys, top 25, elite. 103, 102 defensive rating. Of course, like on the Knicks, we don't got that, right? On the Knicks, hold on. On the Knicks, wait, hold on. I'm showing you my files. Hold on. Damn. I just lost my. How I lose it that quick? All right, see, so on the Knicks, we don't got nobody 102, right? We don't got none of that on the Knicks, right? And we hadn't had it all year. I'm hopeful that we can get some guys, in single digits, or I shouldn't say that. I should say rather, I'm hopeful that we can get some guys that's like well below 110, right? So Victor Wembanyama, 104.9. These are the top level defensive guys in the league, without a doubt. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Rudy Gobert. You see all these guys? Fred VanVleet, really good defender, by the way. KCP, really good defender. Bam Adebayo, Knicks, Jabari Smith Jr. This list had Jokic on it in the beginning of the year. People was like, wait, Jokic is up there? I said, relax. See, when you're looking at defensive rating, you have to also look at the matchups. Who are they guarding? All these guys thus far, right? Maybe not Franz. Franz, he gets a lot of soft touches. But Jalen Suggs, Dort, Mobley, they all get tough assignments. Aldama, Allen, well, Gobert. Zubac, Fred VanVleet don't hide from nobody. If the Knicks are playing Houston, he's going to guard Bridges or Brunson. They don't hide Fred VanVleet, right? Maybe sometimes they want to throw size. Like if they bring Easton in or somebody else, they might want to, give a different look. But for the most part, Fred VanVleet is guarding Brunson. KCP, Bam Adebayo, Jabari Smith, Naz Reid, Jalen Green. Jalen Green. Okay, I respect it. James Harden. Why is James Harden on the list? He's not guarding. So when you see guys on the list, who are they guarding? Same thing with Luka Doncic. Who are they guarding? Who are they guarding? These guys are protected. We can't go by them being on the list and say, oh, they're good defenders. No, they're not. Jason Tatum, okay, I can live with that. But Karl Anthony Towns, salute to Karl Anthony Towns, making it into the top 25. This is the first time all year we've had a Knick in the top 25. Now, here's why this is important. We don't really hide Karl Anthony Towns. He has to guard Sengun. He has to guard Wemby. He has to guard Jokic. He has to guard Embiid for the most part. Now that we're getting Precious and Mitch back, maybe he'll spend more or less time guarding those guys. But I take Towns 108.5 more serious than I think a lot of you guys will. It's not like Karl Anthony Towns is hiding from the tough center matchups. He's been going head-to-head with all the top centers in the league thus far. We haven't hit him. There was no Mitchell Robinson to come in. He wasn't playing with Sims early on, right? And he's just starting to play with Precious. That's a new development. But Towns, he made his way into the top 25. And I think it's a respectable 108. This is for the people that say Towns don't play defense. He's not being hid. Like Brunson, we're hiding Brunson. Brunson's not guarding Trae Young, and Towns there's nobody to hide Towns on. Has OG guarded the center sometimes? Yes, but that's rare. And mostly OG guards the center when Towns is not on the floor. Let's keep it real. Like, it wasn't like OG was like, all right, I'm taking the center. No, that OG was guarding the tough forwards, the Julius Randles and guys like that. Franz Wagner, that was OG's matchup. Towns was taking on all the tough centers we've seen thus far this season. Okay, so defensive rating. White Falcon, do steals mean something? To me, no. Steals do not mean anything in terms of defining you being a good defender. You can get steals and not be able to lock nobody down. This rating number right here, so when you're looking at defensive rating, it's not just the number like Luka. It's who you're guarding. Who's your matchups? Luka gets soft touches, so of course his rating can be high. Not to say that he's not playing no defense. I'm not saying Luka's a bad defender. I'm going to say Luka doesn't play defense, right? If he actually just tries to defend, he might be all right, but he just doesn't do it. Like he chooses to take plays off because he's getting a lot of energy on the offensive end. That's fair, fine. But when you see Harden and Luka there, don't think that is because they're good defenders. The only flaw in defensive rating is matchups. It doesn't account for that. So when you see SGA up here, Jalen Williams up here, Jaren Jackson, they're actually guarding the better players in the league, and they're still up there in rating. That's what's impressive. So we needed somebody to be on this list just to make me happy, and it just so happened to be Karl Anthony Towns. Is his defense at the rim, that one stat that Tibbs keeps bringing up with Jericho Sims, is his defense at the rim the best? No, it's not. Right? Guys were shooting at high percentage. I'm not sure what it is now. I don't really care about that. I'm going to keep it real. I'd rather look at defensive rating and who you matched up with. That to me tells me how good of a defender you are. That's all I need to see, right? And so Towns getting that rating to me was uber important. Exactly. Yo, Knicks will be champs. Man, salute to, first off, my chat, yo, you guys are some of the most knowledgeable guys in the community, man. When Knicks will be champs said is so powerful. There are so many variables that cause steals. That is a big time fact. Just because you're getting 2 steals a game, it doesn't mean the guy on the opposing side isn't shooting 40% from 3 and shooting 12 for 20 from the field, right? You could get steals and still get torched. I mean, it doesn't, steals don't really matter to me. Like, steals and blocks to me is like, blocks is more important than steals to me because, especially like for a guy like Wemby, like, because that means you're actually challenging shots, right? So like if you're getting 2 blocks a game, you're probably challenging a lot of shots, right? That's a part of defense. But just the number alone to me doesn't tell the whole story. You got to look at the rating, but you also got to watch games and know who they're being matched up with. That is also important. So Luka's guarding power forwards most of the time, right? He's guarding the weakest link on the floor. Kyrie has to play more defense than Luka, believe it or not. Because Kyrie has to guard Garland. He has to guard the other guard or the other forward, small forward that may be tough. Because you have they start Clay and PJ Washington. So PJ Washington taking on the power forward. You're not gonna put Kyrie Irving on the power forward. Sometimes they put Luka on the power forward, right? And then PJ Washington will guard another wing guy. But sometimes Kyrie might be matched up with a guard that's a little bit more better. Kyrie gets more tougher assignments than Luka. I'm telling you that off the rip. And I watch a lot of Dallas games. Let me see. Knicks, I've been complaining about our rebounding and paint protection all year. When we win both, we are almost unbeatable. Yeah. More so rebounding for us. Paint protection, not so much. But rebounding has been the stat, Knicks Yak. Salute to you, Knicks Yak, by the way. The rebounding has been the main stat. To me, like out of all the stats that's important, assists too, I think rebounding and assists are kind of on the same level. But rebounding, man, when we out-rebound the other team, we're 19-1. Like, I mean, come on, dude. It's like a guaranteed win. If I look at the box score and see in the fourth quarter we're +5 on the glass, oh, we won the game. That's just how it changed my mind because that's how it's been working thus far. For the most part, of course, you're going to have variables like the Toronto game. The Toronto game is the only game we won where we didn't win the rebounding battle. But what does that mean? Toronto is 6-12 at the time. They were 6-12 when they won the rebounding battle. They're not a good team. So we didn't have to win the rebounding battle on that night, but on most nights we do. Let me see, Knicks 100. Dyson Daniels steals are real. Defense most of the time is this guy's freelancing. Yo, first off, Dyson Daniels, to me, is top 5 defensively for guards right now. He's definitely all NBA team. I'm gonna put Dyson Daniels on the first team defense. Because I think Wemby's gonna win Defensive Player of the Year. But I think Dyson Daniels is first team defense. He is not all steals. He does everything on the defensive end. He could defend on the ball, off the ball, passing lanes. Matter of fact, let me see if I could get his defensive rating real quick. Let me see if I could get Dyson Daniels' defensive rating. Not that I want to spend too much time on the ops, but Dyson Daniels is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Yeah, he gets a lot of steals, but he's not just steal. Like, it's way more to defense than just stealing the ball, right? Yes, a lot of good defenders get steals. Not all of them, but a lot of good defenders get steals. So Dyson Daniels, 3 steals a game right now. His defensive rating, real quickly, Dyson Daniels, hold on, I got to show you guys this. This is Dyson Daniels, y'all. Look at his defensive rating. 110. 110. And it could be better, and it might get better, but 110 and you're guarding the opposing team's best player. Remember, Mikal Bridges is a 116, right? What's Mikal right now? Mikal Bridges is a 117, right? That's Mikal right here. Dyson Daniels right here, 110. And he's guarding Brunson. He's guarding SGA. He's guarding all the top guards. That's hella impressive. So another thing too, like just because a guy's 102, 103, that automatically doesn't, I don't think necessarily Amin Thompson is better than Dyson Daniels because he has a 103. Right? Yes, the number is better, but the assignments, what is the assignments you're getting? Yes, Amin Thompson might get some assignments at times, but he's mostly coming off the bench. This guy right here, Dyson Daniels, every night he's out there. He started 29 games. He's out there guarding the best guard. So I'm taking this 110 over that 104. No offense to the brother, but I'm just saying. Just to give some more insight on the numbers, man. It's not just about steals. What about defensive rebounding versus offensive rebound? To me, I spent a lot of time on the rebounding. If you go back, replay game, you'll be able to see it. I'm going to say it in a nutshell. When you're shooting as well as the Knicks do, a lot of teams that shoot well do not crash the offensive glass. There's no need to. It's less possessions, less opportunities because you're making shots. I went over that in great detail. If you rewind it, you'll be able to get that out and see it. Knicks will be chance when a defender can force a shooter to pass or force a player to go left when he normally goes right. Examples of great defense. All great defense doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Facts, but a lot of it does too. That's a good point. Knicks will be chance. Out to add to what you're saying, efficiency, right? Remember, OG, there was a number, they talked about it on MSG. OG Anunoby, like opposing players was averaging like 37% from the field when going up against OG. That matters too. How efficient is the guys you're guarding when you're guarding them, right? Are you holding guys to sub 40%? Are guys shooting the lights out when you're guarding them? All these things matter. All these things go into rating. So that's why I look at rating and matchup. If you look at rating and matchup, that'll tell you, not just rating by itself, because a lot of people look at rating by itself. Oh, Mikal Bridges is a 117. He's bad at defense. No, it's his rating with his matchup. Mikal is guarding the better players every single night. That's just a fact. Like, it is what it is. It's the truth. Just like Dyson Daniels is guarding the best player every single night. Real quickly, just because I want to begin to close out, and I don't want to make it too long because I want people to rewatch this video. And because, like I said, I drop a lot of jewels. And honestly, this is the best way to keep track of the Knicks all year. This is how I know if the Knicks are doing better or they falling off. I keep track of the Knicks every day, but when we block it out in 10-game segments, it gives us a body of work to look at and go forward from there. Oh, yeah, I got to talk about plus minus. Okay, so this is the plus minus for the Knicks right now, right? And this is, again, like, I don't really look at a lot of advanced stats. Like, I'm not going to look at shooting guard percentages and all this, even the advanced shooting stuff. Yeah, it's cool. But I don't really care about none of this. I'm skipping. Look at all this percentages, assist percentage. I don't care about none of that. I care about plus minus. Why? Because plus minus shows me your effectiveness on the floor with a particular lineup. Plus minus tells you the story of what happens in the game. If you understand how plus minus works and you're really looking at it, not just from a number. Oh yeah, this is the number. It's more so the number and what's actually happening on the floor when you're watching the games, right? So right now, OG Anunoby is like a plus minus god. Like, literally, he is a plus minus phenomenon. Like, this brother, it doesn't matter what the Knicks when the Knicks was early in the year, I dropped my phone. Hold on. When the Knicks was earlier in the year, when they were 5-5, OG Anunoby's plus minus was still pretty good. Like, it don't matter what the Knicks record is. OG Anunoby, he just improves. I know it might be hard to see because I got my notes next to it. I'm going to read it off. So right now, his on-court plus minus per 100 possessions is 11. That's the highest on the team. Okay? But his was more impressive to me. His plus minus per 100 possessions on off, 14.3, plus 6 from when we last checked it. The on off simply means this. This is what this metric is. If it's a positive number, right, that means that your impact on the floor is tremendous. If it's a negative impact number, it means that your impact on the floor is detrimental to the team. But you can't look at it just by itself. You gotta, when you're looking at stats, you can't look at just one stat and say that's what it is. So, like, I'm gonna give you an example. Josh Hart is a minus 2.1 on off. That means that Josh Hart, according to this stat alone, is a detriment to the team. But when you look at his on-court, he's a plus 6.9. So if I see a plus 6.9 and he went up a point, and this minus 2.1, which is highlighted in blue here, Josh Hart, minus 2.1, that minus 2.1 actually improved because it was 3.1. So he's actually getting better in this number, right? So you can't, this is why we track it all year, because you can't just look at one number at one moment in time and then make a definitive statement. Advanced stats don't really work like that. Like, you really got to know what it is about and actually watch the games to really see what's going on. So his on-court, to me, it offsets the on-off. But I'd say OG Anunoby is a plus-minus god. I got to give a big-time salute to Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges had the biggest jump in plus minus out of anybody in the Knicks since we last checked it, right? He's a plus. Hold on, let me just get this right. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So he's a plus 13. No, I'm sorry. I'm not 13. He's a plus 3. My bad. Mikal Bridges is a plus 3 on court, right? Plus 3 on court. That's the greatest jump we've seen from any Knick in this stretch as the Knicks have been thriving. So last time we checked, he was 6.2. But get this, his on-off was like 0%. Like he was neutral. Like it was like, it was no real advantage either or. He was just in the middle. He actually took it up plus 9. He went up plus 9 and on-off. And like I told you, plus minus per 100 on-off just means if you have a positive number, that means that you're a great benefit to the team. And when you have a negative number, that means that you're a detriment to the team. Like these guys down here. See, like this is why you can't look at stats, right? Just by itself. You look at Ariel, you see the minus 33 on-off. You be like, damn, Ariel is a detriment to the team. But what you're not factoring in is he only played 99 minutes. Like you can't judge a guy off 99 minutes. You don't look at stats in that regard. He's playing garbage time. He's not playing enough time, right? And we seen like in the fourth quarter, I could explain this away too. We seen the Knicks in the fourth quarter of blowouts lose the lead, right? So that's why their plus minus is bad like this. Matt Ryan, all these guys, because typically the Knicks lose the lead a little bit. If they're up 20, it goes down to 15 because the bench guys are in. So that's why the plus minus looks the way it looks. But if you don't know about plus minus and you don't know how to look at stats, you would read this all wrong. All these numbers are good. Like everybody went up in plus minus. I just wanted to give an update on plus minus. Sorry if my notes kind of confused it a little bit, but I was really doing it for me so I could like see what the improvements is. Like Miles McBride, he's also somebody that jumped up. Like Deuce has always been number 2 behind OG in plus minus. On court, 10.3. He improved 1.6 from where he was last time when we checked. But he did drop minus 3.7 on off. That's fine. It's still positive. It's still plus 5. Deuce McBride makes an impact when he's on the floor. And he's also still has the third best. He's still top 3 in on off plus minus on the team. So Deuce McBride on the floor typically is a win. Right. And of course, Towns and Brunson, 8.8. Towns went up plus 2. And Brunson is 8.1, went up plus 1. Yeah, I don't want to read too much into that, but these are the plus minus stats. You can screenshot if you want, so you can have a reference. And then when we do the show again, we'll get more into, where they are. But this is how it's looking. OG Anunoby, man, this brother right here. But yes, the shooting is not great. Right? The shooting is not where we want it. He did drop like 2% off of his 3-point percentage or whatever. But at the same time, I think that, the brother is, he's still making an impact on the floor because what he has been doing, which is harder to really recognize, is he's been stepping up his defense. That's one thing OG has been doing. I mean, he's been playing better defense, and the numbers confirm it. I just showed it. Let me see what you guys saying. That's why OG is a top 5 defender, Knicks 100. I think OG definitely deserves consideration in the top amongst the elite. Don't read everything into the number, right? Because the number matters, but it doesn't matter as much as you see OG out of position. He's guarding a big guy. He's guarding 5s. He's guarding 4s. You put OG Anunoby on 3s and watch his number shoot up. If you put OG Anunoby at the 3, his number will shoot up. I'm sorry, I'm getting mad notifications. It's Friday afternoon. Got some business I gotta take care of. But yeah, OG Anunoby, I'm not concerned about him at all. Just don't look at the numbers the way, these guys want you to look at it. All right? Because a lot of these guys, they don't watch enough basketball anyway. So that's all for the numbers. We could get into the rankings. I don't want to do the rankings. I mean, I'll show it on the screen real quickly. These are some of the rankings. I don't like the way it's showing. Hold on, I gotta zoom out. These are some of the rankings right now. Showing like the top guys. You can see this on Basketball Reference. I'm not gonna spend too much time here. But check this out. Jericho Sims, 16th in offensive rebounding per 36 minutes. See, this is stuff Tibbs is looking at. You know, this is the stuff that Tibbs is looking at right here. This is why Sims was getting all those minutes. He's gonna point this out to you, and whatever other Jericho Sims stat you could find per 100 or per 36 or something like that. You know, you can make anybody look like more effective. I'm not saying that's what Tibbs is doing, but you know, like that number there is an interesting number, especially when rebounding is the catalyst. So if you're trying to get more rebounds than your opposing team, you will put the guy who is, you know, 16th in per 36, you know, rebounds. You would give him minutes to him. But yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much. I want to do grades. Let's do grades, man. I want to do grades. Overall, with the, if we go back to the 10, this is the 10 game snap, right? This is what we're talking about. This 10 game stretch. I would give the Knicks an A. I'm gonna give the Knicks an A. You know, I'm gonna write it down because I didn't do this beforehand. So I'm gonna give the Knicks an A, right? I think the Knicks are playing phenomenal basketball. I think they deserve an A. You know, you could say A minus. They're winning the games. You know what? Let's make it an A minus because we did lose to the Atlanta. Yeah, I'm gonna make it an A minus. That Atlanta game, I can't get that out of my head. That was a bad loss. I'm gonna give it an A minus. I'm gonna give the Knicks an A minus. One bad loss to Detroit, but the Atlanta loss, that was just, yeah, we shouldn't have lost that game. But I'm giving the overall Knicks that grade. Let me see. I'm gonna go to the back to Basketball Reference. I'm gonna give these guys grades. I'm just gonna do the core rotational pieces. Bridges, I'm gonna give him an A. Mikal Bridges stepped his game up. We went over the reasons why. I think Mikal I wouldn't be surprised if he continues at the rate he's going. He might be right under 20 points the next time we do this video. He already jumped 2 points in his average. He took it from 16 to 18. No reason why he can't go from 18 to 20, right? And guys, you could also drop your grades in the chat too. I'm gonna do an A minus for the Knicks. Bridges A. Sims is a good player. I seen Sims. What's that? SCR, 5 screens in 1 possession. 5 screens is a lot of screens, bro. Oh, okay. See, like Knicks 100, I'm gonna keep it real. That's a stat that I don't really pay attention to. I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm pretty sure you could find reason to put Sims on the floor. And I know that's what, like, Knicks 100 that's what Tibbs is looking at. He's looking at all of that stuff, and we see how good the, you know, Brunson Towns pick and roll is. So you want to sustain some of that from your bench guys. So I get that, right? Just to double down. But yeah, put your grades in the however you want to grade these guys during this 10 game. Remember, it's not for the season. It's for the 10 game stretch. The last 10 games. So from every game from that was Orlando all the way down to San Antonio. So I'm giving Bridges an A. I'm giving Josh Hart. I'm gonna give Josh Hart a B plus. Right? He always is like around a B plus for me. You know, he brings the hustle and heart. His numbers pretty much stayed the same. He honestly could be an A minus, because his numbers didn't change at all. He actually sustained his high level numbers, 39% from 3. I mean, damn near 40% from 3. That's crazy from Josh Hart, and he's getting 3.5 attempts a game. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a B plus. OG, I'm gonna give OG a B, right? Only because the offensive has slid a little bit, right? Like I said, he dropped some percentage points from the 3-point line. He did improve a little bit in steals. His defensive rating went up a point. He has shown that he's playing better defense. He has this stretch where he has at least 1 steal a game. I believe it's like 8 or 9 games. So I'm giving OG Anunoby a B. It would be an A, but the offense, the shooting hasn't been good recently. Jalen Brunson, the cat, I'm going to give Jalen Brunson a B. I think Brunson could do a lot better. Yes, he has been facilitating more. Yes, we understand the team has been winning at a high level, and Brunson hasn't had to do as much as he normally would, and I'm not mad at that. But I want to see more from Brunson. Honestly, I want him to take over the game more because, like I said, we had that Hawks game where I felt like Jalen Brunson would sleep at the wheel. That's why I think it was the Pelicans where he had that bounce back game. That's why that game happened, because he realized that, yo, I'm the captain. I gotta stand up for the guys. I can't allow us to lose. And that means if I got to pass the ball, I'm gonna pass the ball. If I got to shoot the ball, I'm gonna shoot the ball. So I'm giving Jalen Brunson a B, not a B minus like I kind of wanted to. I'm still gonna give him a B because he did have some good games. and the team has overall been successful, and he is the captain. He is the engine to the team to help the team run right. So if the team is running right, that means that he is doing his part. So I'm gonna give Jalen Brunson a B. Towns had some monsters games. I'm gonna give Towns. I'm gonna give him an A minus. Yes, he had games where he definitely, could have did better, like the Spurs game. Foul trouble took him out of that game. Some of the blowout games, it's a blowout, so I don't really care. Minnesota, you've seen what he did against Minnesota. I mean, he had some really good games. Even in the Hawks game, he fouled out, but he had 19 and 19 in the Hawks game. Like incredible effort, right? And we were getting out rebounding on the glass. Karl-Anthony Towns was the rebounds for us that game. The Orlando game, solid. He has some solid games. I'm gonna give Towns an A minus, maybe a B plus, but an A minus for sure. And Deuce, I'll just give Deuce off the bench a grade. I'm not gonna do everybody else. Deuce McBride, damn, I don't know how to grade Deuce. He has games where he didn't show up, but he has games where he really showed up. Then he had games where he didn't show up on the offensive end, but he played good. I'm gonna give him a B plus. I'm gonna give Deuce a B plus, and I'm not gonna do Payne. That's all, man. And I'm not gonna do Achua yet because Achua just came back. Next time it comes around, I grade Achua. I'm curious to see if you guys gave any grades. If not, that's cool. I touched everything I need to touch on. Like I said, this was a complete analysis, deep dive on where the Knicks are in the 10 games. If you just joined, it's a good video to run back so you can get a real good picture as to where the Knicks are. Oh, by the way, I forgot to do this, and Maxine will be mad at me. So she won't be mad at me. Let me do this right quick before I read your chats and say goodbye. I do because I said earlier some of the people are members and they're part of the Discord server. So by the way, this is the upcoming schedule too. I'm kind of glad I did this too. Real quickly. So our next show will be Monday, This Week Inside the Knicks at 6 p.m. Add it to your calendars, mark it down. We will be here Monday, and I think that's right before the game, right? I think we play Monday. Yeah. So we play Washington. So it's going to be a hard. I might even start the show a little earlier on Monday. I might start it at 5:45 because we got the Wizards at 7:00 on Monday. So I'm gonna start the show a little earlier, but be here by 6:00 for sure. And then next Friday, to all my call up people, that's when the call up will return. It won't be Thursday. It'll be Friday, 10:45 p.m. Hopefully you guys could come back and have some more good conversations. I enjoyed everybody who called in. Whether we agree or disagree, I don't care. I love to talk Knicks and balance the scales and enhance the fan experience. And once again, back to our regularly scheduled programming for This Week Inside the Knicks. So every Monday, we got the This Week Inside the Knicks, 6 p.m. So be here or be square. Now, I do want to show you guys the channel memberships real quickly before I read your comments and we close out. So on this channel, we have two memberships. We have the starter Knicks fan package and we have the hardcore Knicks fan package. Salute to all the channel members. I love all you guys. And even if you're not members, I love all you guys who support, whether it's a like, a subscribe. Listen, anything you can do to support the machine, watching the videos, hitting the like button, that all helps, right? This is additional stuff for the people who can do it. I do appreciate it. It will help the growth of the channel. I try to make subtle improvements as I go, until I make the big splash, and you might see me in the studio one day. But anyway, either way, the channel memberships and the super chats, all that helps the growth of the channel. By the way, these are the two packages. Each one of these packages comes with the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server access. It's a server where we have a 24/7 Knicks chat. Salute the coach, he's in there. Oh, my man, Sam. Salute the Sam in there. Salute the Sam. Sam's in the building. Wacko in Brooklyn's in there, though he's not active. J Tap is in there. A couple of people are in there. We talk during the games. Like tonight, we'll be talking during the game. So all members get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. It's not on here, but after each show, I typically put up a post letting the people know how they can get up there. And so, but then you also get members only live chats that will be starting soon, not right now, because I love having you guys come in and chat and out, and I want to see new people in the chat. But they also get priority replies to comments. So live shows or even just like polls. I didn't do a poll. I got to do a poll today. But anyway, when I do my polls, sometimes members, you guys want to speak, and it gets a lot of comments. I make sure I reply to all my comments. Of course, I do special updates for members. I just put up some basketball clips of me playing basketball. You want to see the objective fan hoop? I put up 2 games thus far, and I'm just letting you guys know. And when you guys get up in there, you're gonna see I lock everything down. When I come into the game, I am a defensive maestro. I am like an OG Anunoby. I'm like, I don't care if they 7 foot. I don't care if they 6 foot. I'm locking them up. That's what my job is. So yeah, I just posted those videos. I do my unfiltered thoughts. I got to bring that back. I've been slacking on the unfiltered thoughts, but and there's more. And then I'm also going to give members the opportunity to, create topics in terms of things they would like to discuss on the show. That's coming as well. And then of course members get shout outs. And then of course you get even more discounted, more discount on the merch, right? I didn't go over the merch today, but if you go to shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com, I got mugs. This mug right here, right? You get a discount on this, right? A bigger discount. So, definitely the $4.99 package, like I say, for the $4.99 package, you get a lot. You don't just get a shout out and a hello. I try to go above and beyond for my members and give you guys something, whether it's the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, whether it's just, me playing basketball, whether it's me, just my unfiltered thoughts. The channel members always get more. And then if you want to be a hardcore Knicks fan, this is the hardcore. This is for the people that want a little bit more. And this is for the people that actually want to try to make some money with the parlay builder. I got this thing called the parlay builder where we make picks together, man. We've been tracking, like the same way you see me track stats today. I've been tracking individual player stats. So we put together these parlays, anywhere from plus 25, plus 250 and up. That's where I like to work at, plus 250 and up. So I'm not doing 1-to-1. Yeah, I'm plus 250 and 1. We trying to get some bread, right? And we hit big a couple of times, but the consistent plus 250s, plus 300s, that's my style. That's how I like to bet. And then, like I said, and then we also got the parlay builder shows that we will be starting up soon as well. We'll connect on more social media platforms. We got member-only live streams, and there's more exclusive content. I'm consistently adding to the membership. So as you guys join, you guys will be able to see exactly what the channel is working with. So Maxine would have got mad at me if I didn't share that. So I had to share that. Let me see what you guys talking about in the chat, man. Let me see what you guys talking about. Salute to Sam saying join the Discord. Get in Discord. We did. Yep. Salute to Sam. I appreciate that, Sam. Get in the Discord. We discussed the game real time during these Knicks games, especially those nationally televised games. Yes. But Sam too. We're gonna bring back the live play-by-plays. I'm thinking that the live play-by-play we're gonna do. I'm not sure about the Philly game. I'm not sure if the Philly game is exclusively on ESPN, but I do see an ESPN game on the 29th of January. I see a TNT game, but I think that Knicks game versus the Nets, I see TNT versus the Nets. I think they pulled that game. I'm not sure. But if that TNT game against the Nets is only on TNT, we'll do that game. But the ABC, I think the ABC game against the Lakers in LA, I think that might be the first play-by-play. But once again, I have the schedule. You'll always see the upcoming shows. But yeah, we gonna get that back. Let me see what's going on. E. Gibson, appreciate the stream and the work you put into these shows, research and analysis. Thank you, E. Gibson, man. Yo, man, look, I've always been a Knicks fan that was a little interested in just reading a little bit more and watching a little bit more. So I said, when I decided to do a channel, I said, man, I could put all of this into a channel. So I appreciate it, man. I know I'll go above and beyond. Like, the average Knicks fan ain't doing this. Like, I actually created this, and it's my notes, and I track it every single game. So that's why off the top of the head, I could just be like, boom, 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 because I'm tracking it every game. 5-6 in close games, 12-4 against below 500 teams. This is stuff I'm tracking every day, right? And then I go into the basketball reference, and I do all that extra stuff that we looked at so far. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. NB is the troll, yeah. Salute to the troll, man. Man, I'm not gonna give you a salute. I can't do it. That wouldn't be right of me. But salute to NB the troll. Why you didn't call in last night, NB? I think you scared, man. I think you be capping. I think you'd be capping, man. But salute to Darlene Bryant. Okay, salute to you, Darlene. She says Bridges A minus, Josh A minus. I agree with that. I could live with that. OG a B. Okay, I agree with that. Cat an A. Okay, I could live with that. Well, Cat A minus. Deuce a B. Yes, I gave him a B plus, but I could live with a B. And Brunson A minus. I gave Brunson a B. I could give Brunson a B plus. The only reason why I can't give him an A is because of the Atlanta game. I'm keeping it real, Darlene. That Atlanta game for me, oh man, I was waiting for last year's JB. I'm like, will last year's JB please stand up? Last year he wasn't going for that. Last year JB, he don't care. Listen, he could have went 10 for 35. I don't care. Don't go out, so passive and I was just waiting for the real JB to stand up. That's all. I felt like he became passive down the stretch of that game. But that's all, man. Look, man. This guy MB, man, yo, man, salute to you, brother. That's all for the show, man. And I appreciate all you guys that rocked out with me. E. Gibson, Crimes Dad, On Dios, Sam the Man. Salute to Darlene for giving her grade. Latoria B. Oh my God, I gotta read her grades. She says Josh gets an A off hustle alone. Too much of what he does doesn't show up on the stat line. That's a fact. Hey, you know something else, Latoria B? To double down on what you're saying, Josh Hart, man, yo, offensively, he is the reason why we're number 2 ranked offense. His contributions, him bringing up the ball, you're not gonna see that on the stat sheet. Him bringing up the ball and initiating the offense, taking pressure off for Brunson, bringing Brunson off the ball. Right, running the 2-man screen and roll that they run sometimes with Hart, Towns, and Brunson. Some of the things that these guys do, Hart does, not these guys. Some of the things that Hart does goes unnoticed, and this is why I was on the bandwagon of please do not take Hart out of the starting lineup. So I'm riding with you, man. Salute to your grades, Latoria B. Yeah, too much of what he does doesn't show up on the stat line. Let me see if there's any more grades before I cut out. Let's see. 100, get rid of your boy Sims. Okay, Tony Starr said get rid of your boy Sims. I don't think we need to get rid of nobody, but salute to Knicks Yak, Knicks 100, Maxine, Latoria B, Darlene. Salute to JoJo. Salute to everybody that tuned in. Tony Stark. Salute to everybody that tuned in. Knicks will be champs 25, 26. How could I forget? Crimes Dad. Thank you guys for rocking with me. That's all for this broadcast, man. So until next time.